So, welcome. Welcome to Second Wake. Holy crap. It is Monday night. It's Dungeons and Dragons time. It's do the stuff and the things and roll the dice and hopefully nobody important dies. But we never know. Everyone could die, no one could die. There could be just a wonderful story where we've learned the power of friendship and everything comes together. Or the end of the world happens. Some of that is up to you guys. So, for everyone joining us this is Second Wake episode 11. I think I put it in the thing, in the stream title. It should say episode 11. For everyone who's, I know, I did it all fancy. Like, for everyone who's wondering where episode 10 was, YouTube ate it. That's how that worked. Me being special in the very, very normal human being special thing. I didn't realize that after you fully uploaded a video and it's done doing the standard definition processing, you still can't close it, because if you close it before the high definition processing is done, it just eats your video, and the like 50 gigs of video that you uploaded in 1080p and all that stuff, they vanish. They're gone. They never existed and you didn't do it, and you're a liar if you think that any of that stuff happened. So that's how YouTube works. So I didn't know until today that it had been eaten. So it was re-uploaded today. It should be live now. If you wanted to get a recap of episode 10, leave the stream now. Go watch that 4.5 hour video. And by the time you come back, episode 11 will be ready to be uploaded tomorrow morning. See, so that'll work there. We're finally up to 65 followers on Twitch. So awesome. 4 more and we can stop getting followers forever. Because we'll just be at the best number. Yeah, it's called dancing. So that's how that works. We're still not sponsored. We're still ready to shill. Speaking of shill, I had a thing that came in that I was going to go on. So I recently got a Kickstarter in from a local here in Florida. That's where I play at. Other people, different places. From Eric Goodnight. He does a cool sort of thing. His Kickstarter was to fund, I don't know if I can show any of these on stream, much like many of the people who do art for the stream, search them at your own risk. I think that one's probably, no, that's Nintendo. You can't do that. That has boobs on it. There we go. That's like a calm one. So he did a Kickstarter for these kind of stickers, which are the Meet Cute stickers, and they're pretty cool. He did a whole set of them. You can look him up at EZGoodnight on Twitter. Just a really cool local artist, cool dude, is into wrestling like I am, is really talented for a number of things he does, so check him out. His Kickstarter shipped to all of the backers today and like yesterday, I think. So I think he now has like some of the collection up where you can message him to order it. I just wanted to do a shout out, not that we're getting paid, not that anything other than he didn't ask me any of that stuff. I just got the Kickstarter and I thought it was really, really cool. The poster that came with it is phenomenal. So if you like the old kind of, I don't know how to describe his style. His style is like if Doom is like awesome G.I. Joe and like old school cartooning type stuff, then Eric is like if you ever went to a pizzeria and you put $1 of quarters in that, like the tattoo, the fake tattoo, the temporary tattoo, and you got those 2 pieces of cardboard and inside was like a holographic sticker. That's kind of like his, like the old school, like 80s, 90s, you're going to slap that shit on your Trapper Keeper and make it look cool kind of stuff. So just fun things. Yeah. You know, sometimes you just want to share stuff. So yeah, so check him out. Again, that's EZ Goodnight. He does the Meet Cute. That's MEAT cutie stickers. He does a bunch of other artwork too. If you're into AEW, WWE, that kind of stuff, he does like stylized wrestling stickers and all kinds of nonsense. So just cool guy. I figure since I already promote people down below, why not promote local friends that are doing cool stuff, especially in 2020. I mean, we don't have a huge audience, but YouTube says that we get like 30 some odd views, and views just show up on Twitch. So there we go. I don't know. If one person sees it and thinks it's cool, then that'd be cool. Past that, I think we're good. I don't think anything else. Yeah. Anything else from you guys? Anything you guys want to promote or say about or remark on? Anything like that? Yes, no? For Vulture Piece? Oh, no. No Tesla for Colt. No Colt Tesla. Easy as easy does. All right, so episode 11 of Second Wake. Yeah, we're in double digits. We're chugging right along to the story, tale, adventure, saga, whatever, of the Weavers Chosen of the Lady Galanti, our 6 intrepid Weavers Chosen. Intrepid? Yeah, sure. Are currently ventured upon...
Inept.
Yeah, inept. No, I wouldn't say inept. You guys have won every fight you've been in. I think that's a remarkable thing. Colt's won all but one fight he's been in. So it's a good. I mean, that's pretty good. That's still. I mean, better odds than most people. So I mean, it's not like anyone. No character here has lost 256 times in like the span of a month following an election. That would be terrible. So you guys are all. 258 times up on a very orange person. So congrats to you guys. Hell of a win, guys. So when we last left our Weavers Chosen, you were aboard the ferry of Mr. Trenton Quass. You had booked passage far to the north of Grim Village, heading into Thunder Bay. In our last episode, we realized that Thunder Bay gets its name. Why? Because it thunders there. Because something in that bay makes a noise that is a cacophonous, thunderous sound that rumbles, radiates, and reverberates across the walls and shores of Thunder Bay, thus creating a very cacophonous and booming sound. While aboard your vessel, some shenanigans happened. I won't spoil them because comedy is best worked if you haven't seen it before, but comedy ensued. You're gonna leave it at that. We had a number of stream issues, so I recommend you watch the YouTube video because I patched that thing together like Frankenstein, so good luck. We only had one copyright claim, though, so that's good. That's an improvement over 2 weeks ago when there was like 6, so I don't know. I ain't changing the music, but they keep finding things to hate me on. After our comedy event, we went to a break. We came back. The crew of the Weavers Chosen, or I shouldn't say crew, the Weavers Chosen and the crew of the ferry, words are hard, decided, or rather viewed an encroaching darkness coming in at night. It revealed itself to be, again, these shadowy, inking masses that continue to assail them and harrow their journey to the north. In their defense, they managed to slay much of the flying creatures, which then formed and created these horrible, monsterish, gnomish type creatures that rended through much of the wake of the crew of the ferry. Trenton Quass is 0-2 on usable crew, as he is now going to have to replace his crew for the 3rd time within a month. Not a lot of wins for Quass. But to that end, the Weavers Chosen and their charge for the Lord Busrund have all survived, and the journey continues further north. When we last left, we were settling in, and rather we are picking up right from the end of combat. We have done nothing in downtime. We have done nothing on Discord. You guys are getting the what's the thing? Like the straight dope. If I'm gonna steal Colville's thing. Give you the straight dope, all killer, no filler. So that is where we're at. As the creatures funnel away into shadowy dust, JJ, you manage to take some of the black ichor that pours from Lamont, from Mr. Lamont, into your water skin. You contain it. You can feel there is a weight to it, a bit heavier than water itself, almost like an ichor, if there was such a thing. You all are currently in the blood-soaked and stained underside of the ship. Below deck, you have now found that what was once a cargo hold and the makings of a crew quarters are now a scene of pure carnage. Blood has drained out and been torn. Pieces of what remains of the crew of the ferry now coat the various crevices and cracks, the nooks, the crannies beneath the ferry. And the stench of death weighs heavy upon your nostrils. It is still fresh, that fresh bloodletting smell, the worst smell ever. In like a month, it'll be even worse. Trust me. You all have secured the ferry, however, and the two holes that were created by these creatures entering into the vessel and boarding have been patched up by you, both with wood planks and a bit of quick thinking control water from your warlock Bucky, managing to stem the flow of water from pouring in and capsizing the ship. But there you stand, below deck, many of you covered in wounds, viscera, and especially for one of you, the weight and tiredness that is only can be experienced from passing to the other side. It still weighs heavy on your body, your soul, and your mind. And that's where we will pick up. So you guys find yourself below deck. What is it that you will do?
I think I was still holding on to Lamont, because wasn't he like cursed or something or whatever?
You have him in a hug. Once JJ at the end of the episode drained the ichor from him, it seems as if everything's fine with him now. He seems to be in control of his senses and facilities. But you can still hug him. He's happy to be hugged. He's he's kind of celebrating a win at this point. A less than fruitful night of hunting rats, bilge rats, has now awarded him the chance to fight against the encroaching darkness and stand up for himself for once. So, overall, a win in his book.
Yeah, that's going in my notes. Next to my notes of set rodent traps on board, ? Colt stepped on one, fucking Lamont. They hugged and made up.
Yeah, checks out. Yeah, seems about right.
All right.
Guess I'll start getting this cleaned up. I'll just start going around with prestidigitation over and over and over again for 5-foot squares and slowly get rid of the blood spray everywhere. Someone take care of the chunks, please.
JJ will ferry chunks of human flesh and dump them in the water.
Oh, geez.
Such a waste. Ugh.
Let's hit JJ's thing right here. Okay, so yeah, JJ, you start scooping up viscera and remains from these people, torn appendages, arms, legs. It's definitely messy work. The more that you guys kind of look it over, and as you indenture yourself into this work, many of you are kind of having it settle in, while most of you have kind of worked in the past in more of a ferry or parcel delivery for the Lady Galante. This is your first real experience at this point with carnage and a kind of a mass destructive feel to this. The weight that these were once living people who, not moments before this event transpired, were able to look you in the eye, say hello, and were very much cognitive creatures, and now nothing more than flesh, meat, bones littered across the deck of the ship. As Vel, you work to clean up, and JJ, you work to kind of ferry things out. The rest of you, no doubt, have a hand in helping in one facet or another, whether it be assisting up deck for Mr. Quas for the rigging of the ship, or merely just making sure you calm the, not so much fears, but suspicions of your dwarven compatriots on board. I need everyone to roll me an intelligence saving throw. And we'll start with Colt. What do we get?
A 2.
A 2. Colt, this event weighs heavy on your soul. You definitely feel at a certain point there's a number of people on deck that you had spoken to or shared a bunk nearby. And as you're kind of helping ferry what's left of them, either off the ship or into a place that Vel can reduce them away with magic, it is a grim reality of the world in which you are now traveling as a Weaver's Chosen. You take a point of sanity damage, so reduce your sanity by 1. That doesn't reduce your total score, it just reduces your capacity.
How is our sanity calculated again, if you don't mind me asking?
No problem. And for the people playing at home, Sanity is a homebrew mechanic that is meant to distribute the mindset and overall wear and tear an adventurer should feel on a long journey. Rather than I operate at 150%, and the only thing that I worry about is exhaustion, this attributes to your mental exhaustion. Your Sanity score is a total of your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. So as you become a more grizzled veteran, you get a higher proficiency, you're able to deal with a number of things. It comes down to what you've experienced and what you can survive. And I've seen that before in war. War never changes. That kind of hardened, grizzled veteran attitude. But as well, those who are more sane, more rational, more based in reality are often those that are the sanest in the long run. They're able to rationalize, compartmentalize, and otherwise put difficult and stressful situations into manageable and healthy parts of their being. Bucky, where are we at?
I rolled a 10.
A 10. Bucky, as you're helping slop much of the crew out from these crevices and corners, cleaning the underside of the ferry, reinforcing the holes in it, you come across the bunk and what remains of a very old man who you once argued the weather with. He now lays in pieces strewn across the deck, and the moment as you look upon him is definitely one that shocks you to your core. You take a point of sanity damage, so you reduce your sanity by 1.
Got it.
Okay. Orville, where are we at?
We get a 17 over here.
17. Orville, for a moment you think they might be delicious. You're a goblin by trade. It's no secret that goblins have a long history of eating people and other races. They're cannibalistic in certain societies, and certain tribes do believe in the strength and power of one is held in the body. This is nothing new to you. You've left a rather less than difficult life, but this is something that you've already hardened yourself to much of the world on the outside. You're fine. JJ, what do we get?
I get a 10.
A 10. Much in the same as Colt, you kind of look across the remnants of the crew as you continue to fill this hefty bucket each trip, carting it from the underside of the ship onto the edge of the deck, and at this point chumming the water as the only way to dispose of much as what's there. The bucket seems to gain weight every trip, heavier than the last. Your footfalls squelching and squishing as these now red footprints trail across the deck, things that Vel will have to clean later. You feel the weight of your actions kind of hang heavy on your soul, and you take a point of sanity. Morgan, where are we at? Morgan, you're muted.
You're muted.
XOXO.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
I accidentally muted myself on
Oh.
my hotkey. I got a 4.
A 4? Okay. Morgan, you're right in batting range, striking distance for most of the crew. With the rest of your Weavers chosen, especially in your line of work, there's always been an emphasis on get in, get out, make it clean, don't leave a trace. This is not something you would ever do. This is, as you look at across here, whatever they're after, whatever they're attempting to pilfer from you, whatever they're attempting to reclaim, if it might be that case, whatever reasons they might have, or whatever this darkness is that chases you and continues to attempt to abscond with that which you are defending, is doing so in the most brutal of ways, and clearly has no regard for regular mortal life. This hangs heavy on you. Your principled training as a thief, as a rogue, as somebody in your line of work is disturbing, to say the least. It's always been about completing a job, making sure it's done, and making sure no one is around to remember it, but not in such a spectacular fashion. You take a point of sanity damage. Vel, where are we at?
I got an 8.
An 8. Vel, you kind of look over this, and with each casting of prestidigitation, you watch as the blood drain from the wood, this senseless waste, this heft, this multitude of usable bodies that you have trained for some many years now to perfect. As a wizard, and especially that of one who is trained under a school of necromancy, you know the importance of those that have few people that would ever come looking for them, and even fewer still who would care about the utilization of their bodies. This is definitely a heavy waste, to say the least, but in the depths of it, it is twofold. This is also the first time, most likely, that you've come across carnage to this extent beyond the pages of your book. many of your teachings and growings ups from where you originated far to the south have always told you a dead body, it's this, it's useful, it's a material, it's something that is once passed from this mortal coil, yours for the taking and yours for utilization. But truly, now seeing so many of these once living people laying there as cold husks, there is a wastefulness and wanton destruction that kind of finally makes it real to you. No more than just the pages of your book, no more than the studies, no more than the lessons your teachers had imparted upon you. Now this is real. This is very much how your profession, or rather teachings, work. But at the cost of so many innocents that had no business being where they were at, and no business dying this soon. You take a point of sanity. And that is where we're at. Fast forward 3 hours.
Oh, real fast. I
up, Colt?
went insane.
You only had one?
Huh? No, I already had a
Oh.
point.
Yeah, because you had -3. That's right. Yeah. Hey, he's real crazy. All right, very cool. Yeah, let's do this. This will be fun. I'm super into this. All right, so we're going to start this off. So, for many of the people who are watching, who are like, man, sanity just seems like a way for the DM to guilt trip people, you're right. That is 100% what that's for. But also, it is a score and a defense, like anything else, that weighs heavily and heavily on your mental state and how you act as a person. When these things pass by, you begin to slowly but surely go a bit mad. Colt, you hit 0, right?
Yes.
All right. So, as hitting 0, just so we're aware, you do not have to return to 1. While you are at 0, you are considered to be crazed. So you are a person that is on the very edge. Small things might have higher DCs for you if they deal with your mental health, if they deal with fear, stress. You are very irritable. It can fabricate or otherwise materialize in a number of different settings. As you hit your madness threshold, you do develop a bit of a stress. So our beginning, for many of the people who are wanting to see behind the curtain, for those of you watching at home, for this system, we start with very surface level things, and then as characters continue to interact and deal with what is effectively their threshold, their limits, their upper crust, dealing with insanity and stress, the stress begins to become more deep-rooted, they become habits, and that eventually become permanent effects that will forever and reprehensibly change your character. Colt, to get us started off, I need you to roll me a d6, please.
D6. That's 4.
A 4, okay. And a d4 next. In case you're wondering how many charts I have, it's a lot.
That's a 2.
Okay, and another d6, please.
That's a 3.
A 3, okay. And finally, a d100.
D100. That is 98.
Okay. Lord, have mercy. Okay, so... So as you kind of stand there over the next 3 hours, as the crew begins to clean the ship, wipe the muck, the grime, the things from the front of the deck, you have a small flaw that develops, and you start to pick up on it. More so, Lamont seems to look at you rather curiously, and the rest of your Weavers Chosen begin to kind of look you over with a bit of both understanding, but a bit of fear in their eyes as well. Every so often, you all, those of you on the deck, note that as Colt assists in hefting out bits of now ruined gear, broken items, or anything that is to be discarded or unusable, every so often you catch him with a toothy-looking hobgoblin-type smirk on the side of his face. And every so often, as he scoops things off from the front of the deck, you hear this soft kind of like, just like those damn snakes. Yep, nothing left but bones, nothing left but bones. And he starts kind of muttering to himself, a little bit odd. You can hear this kind of chuckling sound. Colt, while you are insane, so while you're at 0, while you are at your threshold effectively, you gain the coping mechanism, which is a flaw. You can put it in your flaws. that in stressful situations, you cannot take anything seriously. The more serious a situation, the funnier it is.
All right.
Okay, and that is it. There's, for your first one in this category, there is nothing further than that. And since it is just a stress of the job, as far as for what triggered the event, there is no long-term effects at this time. If you continue to remain for days on end without any self-care, anything that would help calm you down or help you rationalize what's happened to you, this could develop into a more permanent thing. But for right now, it only affects you while you are at your threshold of 0.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So, everyone else good to go? Beep, boop, boop, boop. All right. So, as I said, 3 hours pass. You all set about the ferry. You make your way into cleaning the ship as best as possible. Quas, at certain times, trades with Fortune to assist in cleaning the deck, putting things away, opening up some of the crates and barrels that were the different belongings of the various passengers of crew that he previously employed. He makes note and often writes with a kind of a faded bit of parchment over the front of each of their footlockers to ensure that if they ever arrive or whenever they arrive back in Direwood, their belongings are passed on to their next of kin or whoever might be. In certain instances, he looks upon it, shakes his head, opens their footlocker, and kind of like pulls out whatever they had in there. Many of them at this point, he kind of openly admits to you as the Weaver's Chosen. You guys have kind of grown close. They had no next of kin. It was this or nothing. Many of them didn't have a place to call home. And so he kind of pulls out small things, small coin purses that have a jingle of copper rather than silvers, some extra work shirts, pants, a knife at most, and just some small personal effects that Quas goes ahead and puts kind of towards the back end of the ship into a large heavy-set chest that seems to be kind of molded into the ferry itself, an old lockbox that seems to kind of just sit there. And for any of you who are more acute in your perception, you note that this box is filled with very neatly folded materials, goods and the like that are seemingly mundane, various shirts, hats, belts, or other types of materials that seem to have belonged to owners that have long since been around. So with that, as 3 hours pass, Fortune takes over the helm. For the rest of you, what do you guys want to be doing?
Bucky will play a sad song on his flute.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a performance check.
That's a 24.
A 24. All right. Yeah. Much to the crew feeling the mood, the Weaver's Chosen, start to feel it. Definitely as this kind of melancholy mood sets into the ferry for the next few hours, you hear the kind of eerie pan flute of Bucky, where once is a joyous, almost Fey-wild in exuberance and spirit to uplift and carry on the journey. There's now a sorrowful song, one that truly holds weight to it and allows for personal reflection for those of you who can catch it within earshot. For the rest of you, what would you like to be doing?
JJ will play along with Bucky, but she's going to also go ahead and throw in a song of rest as well.
Okay.
Just in case we only get a short rest again.
Sure. So you managed to do an accompaniment as a bard. You're easy enough to pick up on the notes. For anyone who takes a short rest, which you guys can do now. What's up? Are you taking a short rest, Val?
That's what I was going to do. I'm taking
Gotcha.
a short rest.
Gotcha. So yeah, over the next 3 hours, it's easily enough to spend one of those kind of calming down, getting your breath back, and kind of catching things in. Go ahead. If you have to roll your hit dice, set yourself for a short rest. If you roll any hit dice, you get to add JJ's D6, is it?
Yep, 1d6.
Okay. You get to add an additional D6 to your total hit points. So after you've rolled all your hit dice, add your Constitution modifier to each of your hit dice. You get to add 1 additional d6 on top of that. JJ, go ahead and roll it. That way we can just have it all be the same. Makes it simpler. 5. So after you roll your hit dice, after you've gained your Constitution modifier back in hit points, you get to add an additional 5 so long as you spend 1 hit dice. But that can be done intermittently throughout the next few hours. Let's see here. Colt, what would you like to be doing?
I'm probably laughing hysterically at the song right now.
Yeah. There's likely a chuckle and a they played this at one of my friends' funerals. Like just a chuckle. A very inappropriate one.
I'm the worst person right now.
Hey, stress it all differently.
I'm probably gonna find Lamont after we're done cleaning up.
Easy to do. You find Lamont above deck, near the front of the ship. He is kind of trying to do his best to assist Fortune. Fortune, every so often, due to his height, is kind of ducking down behind the wheel, trying to look past the sail. Just keep an eye out for it. Lamont seems to kind of keep an eye out front, and as the night continues to fall into the twilights of early morning, Lamont every so often will call out and be like, "You might want to pull a bit to port, sir. There's I think it's ice. I think that's ice." And you can see as the hail has now subsided over the last few hours, it's just this blistering, stinging cold that now kind of hurts the back of your throat every time you take a hefty breath in. But yeah, you find him there. What do you want to do, Colt?
I'll approach him and I guess my throat got ripped out, so twice. Hey there, Lamont.
He turns and looks at you and he goes, "Oh, hello, Mr. Honeycutt. Truly a battle of strength and victory to us both. I'm glad to see you're in high spirits and a strong constitution. Have you seen Miss Lightning? I hear she's good with a bit of the medical."
Yeah, she already helped with the throat thing. It's a little raw. I got bitten out twice, you know.
I saw. I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny, wasn't it? Anyway,
No, well, I mean, sure, whatever you say, Mr. Honeycutt.
Anyway, just wanted to say that you did a really good job out there today, and just wanted to, give you some props or whatever.
Props? Are we putting on a stage play, sir?
Maybe that word doesn't exist. I'm trying to give you accolades.
Oh, wonderful. I had actually thought of a few accolades myself. If you might want to herald or second them, I think they'll be quite useful to us when we arrive at our destination. They're usually the honorable type, and they like to hear such heroic ballads. Could I pitch them to you, and maybe you could tell me if they're any good?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I guess
right.
We're gonna do that.
Sure. How about this? Lamont Gnome Stabber. Because they were very short like gnomes, and I stabbed them with my sword.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Definitely, we'll keep that one there. How about this? Lamont Mothmangler, because we killed all those moths that had the tentacles, and I feel like we did a pretty good job of murdering them to pieces. I mean, we didn't mangle them really, but we beat them.
And that also kind of sounds like you're doing weird stuff with moths, so I don't know if that one's going to work too well.
That's a pretty fair point, I guess. Okay. How about this one? Now, this one I thought about for you, okay? Honeycutt the Heroic, because you run into battle at the front.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do like that, and I like to think myself as heroic, Just going to brush my hair back.
Oh, Well, I mean, you can think of yourself however you like, but I do believe there is something to be said of those who herald and trade stories of one another to legitimize the claims and tales that you'll tell. Once we arrive back in a civilized land, certainly these will be tales that will definitely be a worthwhile endeavor to allow for those of the fairer sex to know about. Things that we can lift our noses at and say, yes, we have encountered with brushes of death, and we survived, and we killed many that were, I believe what you want to do is you want to start like, the moths were this big, and then the moths were this big, and then by the end of it, the moths are the fairy. The whole fairy is the moth. And that makes sure you get the most women.
Let me tell you a trade secret, because I'm the best at this, all right? So there were 400 moths, not 24.
One moment, Mr. Nigan, if I might. One moment. And he reaches kind of into the side satchel of his backpack and pulls out a small bundle of papers and a quill. And he kind of like dips and he starts writing. He goes, okay, so there were 400 moths. Okay, carry on, sir.
They were the size of a sperm whale's pecker.
How big is that, would you say?
It's a trade thing. People will know it's rather large.
Oh, they're going to know.
Yeah, they're going to know.
But I don't know.
You should know.
Well, how would you... I mean, what would you... I'll just write down that I'll look that up later. And he kind of like makes a note. And like you see him circle, like, look up sperm whale's pecker size and like writes it all down. To that effect, what languages do you speak, Colt?
I think... Where is that?
Should be under proficiency.
Common and Goblin.
Common and Goblin. Okay. You see Lamont writing in what looks like Common for the most part, but then every so often he'll write a word in a different language. You don't really know what language it is. He kind of turns to you and looks and goes, "All right, so they were huge. Then I'm assuming this is very large. So, anything else we need to make note of when we retell the story and regale them at the taverns?"
You want to think of the most ferocious thing that you've ever seen. See, you take a creature and then you compare it to another creature that's way more ferocious, and that's how you describe the original creature. So if I saw a fish, right, I say that it was enormous and it was scaly and stuff, but it was spitting water and shooting it out and all kinds of shit like that. And then, but we're talking about these moths, so I'd compare it to like I'd compare it to a hyena person, hyena man, which is the most ferocious creature I've ever seen. So it was just, he's at foaming at the mouth, red eyes, and flared nostrils.
Mr. Honeycutt, I don't mean to be terribly rude, but I believe hyena people are called gnolls. I think it's terribly offensive to compare them to dogs.
All right, no, that was my bad. I didn't mean to offend anyone.
I'm sure no one here is a gnoll, but just in case, I don't want to be a stick in the ice about it, but you probably shouldn't call them hyenas.
I suppose he was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with him. I mean, his gang was trying to kill us, but that one guy was pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, they seem pretty cool. I mean, they can run real fast, and they probably don't have to ever spend money on winter clothes. So,
that's a fair assumption. Yeah, I presume.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And he starts like writing things down, like notes. So as you guys kind of go back and forth, we'll cut to, let's see here, Morgan. Anything you want to be doing?
Can I get my dagger back from Quas?
Yeah. You head below deck. You see Quas has, while being very sensitive to what's been going on, you find Quas all the way near the front of the ship, where the cargo is tethered to the ground, and he has taken up many of the hammocks and bunks of the slain crew, and is trying to figure a way to bolt them to the side in which they'll lay all as like one area that he can use as like almost like a Hawaiian king style bed. and he's kind of like struggling with bits of cloth and moving forward. You note your dagger is tucked in the waistline of his back belt, the back of his belt. Here I'm just going, oh, come on, now. Mm-hmm. This goes here.
Hey, Quas.
Turns and looks in your direction.
With that magical dagger.
Oh, yes, your wonderful, your moth slaying device. Yes, of course. And he reaches behind him and he extends out the dagger to you and he goes, oh, sorry. And he flips it around and he extends it to you pommel first and he holds it by the tip of the blade. He goes, truly a tremendous weapon, and surely I was ever so fortunate to be able to borrow it from you. So thank you so much, Morgan.
Appreciate it, but only this once.
Of course. And strictly business, just one time. We don't want anyone to worry about who's loaning who daggers. I completely understand.
That's it.
All right. You get your dagger, and he's like, hey, could you help me with this? And you're just like already walking away. He's like, strong silent type. And he kind of like goes and like starts hooking and like trying to rig this thing up. Orville, what do you want to be doing?
I kind of want to, seeing as I don't have a dagger and I have a need for one, I'm going to go to Morgan because pointy things.
Yeah. You see Morgan just reclaim a dagger from Quas and walks by you and you go, you chase after her.
Hey, Morgan, can I borrow that dagger for like a little bit? I'll give it back.
That's a little bit.
I don't know, like maybe an hour, maybe 2.
I just happen to have 2 for some reason, so I'll just toss it to him.
Thank you.
I'm gonna flick it in the air to him.
Can I catch it?
Yeah. Are you trained in sleight of hand, Orville?
Yeah.
Then yeah, easily enough. Morgan is a trained rogue, so I'm sure she is very much capable of throwing a knife. And if you're trained in sleight of hand, you are capable of catching it, provided that it's not thrown with like sneak attack in mind. So you kind of have that like that trained magician like flicks a card at you, and you're like, ha! Catch the keys.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you can add 1 loaned dagger to your equipment.
Got it.
Right.
Can I use it to like poke eye holes and like a single ear hole in my pillowcase to make a mask out of it?
You definitely can do that. So yeah, you take time and you put your hand inside the pillowcase, take the knife out, and you start trying to like poke holes and like cutting to make little like square holes for eyes. And you start cutting the corner off to make a hood. You do note that there's some wriggling still in the case, as there are a number of like small insects that haven't already been escaped or eaten.
Oh no, I either ate them or I fed them to Fortune. They're all gone.
Oh, fair. Okay, yeah, then yeah, easily enough. Yeah, you look through and there's nothing but blades of grass in there.
All right.
Vel, what do you want to be doing?
After I finish my short rest, I want to find as private as location I can, and I want to cast Identify on the Shadow Stone that I have.
Sure. Yeah. So let's see here. All right. So you cast Identify, and the consensus from I want to see. I don't think there's actually guidelines for how the spell comes out, right? Let me make sure. It's one of the things like I always go back and forth on. So, boopity boop 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 whoop. All right, you choose an object you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. If it's a magic item or some sort of other magic-imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use and how many charges it has. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If you instead touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it. Okay, cool. So yeah, you identify the item, and the stone itself comes back, and as you kind of put your fingers to it, you feel it very cold to the touch. You press your hand against it, and you kind of mutter these incantations. You already have the pearl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of take the pearl and cupping it in your free hand as you're touching with your dominant hand, you kind of roll the pearl across the surface of the item in a circular pattern as slowly you work this incantation out for the next 11 minutes or so. By the time the spell is completed, you can continue to hear kind of this arcane voice, this almost prescience within yourself, like almost to say your true arcane self, your yet unrealized potential as a wizard, speak out to you through this divination, and it kind of almost speaks the knowledge that you seek, like a quiet whisper into your mind, and you hear that this is a Shadowfell stone. You note it to be cracked and damaged at this point. But what you hold in your hand seems to be a physical manifestation of shadow essence, effectively. It is a stone that you're not sure if it's like it wasn't created by a spell, but it definitely has magical connotations to it. From what your identify spell kind of tells you, it's not a direct spell that crafted this. Rather, it was something with arcane potential that almost forced it, much like a kind of like a blast furnace, or I'm sure Colt has a million different welding things he can tell you of how to turn ore into metals and things of that sort. It kind of feels like if someone took coal and put enough magical pressure in it to become a diamond. Kind of the same thing here. They took raw, shadowy essence and forced enough arcana around it until it kind of melded, meshed, and forged itself into this. It is most likely not an easy process from what you can tell, but the smoothness of it and the kind of construction, or rather density that you can see, the stone is not hollow. Stone is a solid mass. And as you kind of hold it in your hand, you look at it, and it's something that definitely would serve to a certain type of person as a focus for arcane and different spells. It doesn't seem to be affected by a spell currently, but as you kind of look it over, it definitely has signs that it could reverberate and connect with spell casting or some type of arcane presence in the future.
Would I be able to tell if it is being used as any source of tracking for us?
You know that it's not currently affected by a spell, which is what Identify gives you.
Mm-hmm.
But you are trained in Arcana, and you do know that with Arcana, there are spells that allow people to be scryed upon or viewed upon, and often those types of spells require, or rather are assisted by, having a knowledge or familiarity with an item in possession of those you're trying to scry. If it is being used in that sense, it technically wouldn't be affected by the spell, but it would be a component that would allow that spell to be more successful.
Okay, but it's not an active thing. They'd have to do that on their own.
I'm fairly sure that specifically scry is just, you have to know what the person looks like. If you have an item they're carrying, you get a bonus, things like that. This is kind of the same vein. If you know that with your training as a wizard, you know that if someone were to scry on this stone, they would definitely know about it and they would know the item. So carrying it kind of carries its own heft in that sense, if that's something you're curious or worried about.
Yeah. No, I had that theory. I was more curious if it was a constant potential thing, so I wanted to check that. Being that I think it has the potential as a spell focus, do I think that if I channeled my arcane energy into it, I could repair it?
There certainly are a number of ways as a wizard to repair items such as this. Being that it is a innately arcane object, I'm not sure, does mending
will not repair any magical properties, but it will repair a physical damage.
So you could do that in the sense. You could repair the physical crack that runs the length of it from when the being that it was using as a focal point for this was disrupted. But as far as for restoring the magic to it, you would most likely want to see somebody who is more in that field. While you're a pure by-the-book wizard and you're very early in your career, all things considered, you know of people who are more trained to focus their magic towards building and creating. People like an artificer or wizards that are more focused on creation magic or scribing, like even like a College of Scribes wizard would probably have a little bit more like this. You also know various other aspects of magic that could maybe assist in creating something with this, or restoring it, rather.
Thank you.
Of course. So Bucky and JJ are playing. Colt, you are kind of near the tail end of your conversation with Mr. Lamont. Was there anything you directly wanted to ask him or inquire about or discuss?
Not really. I just kind of wanted to, give him a pat on the back and tell him good job. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Kind of what I did.
Yeah. As you do that and you end your conversation, wave him off and head back to kind of rest or recuperate as his journey continues. Lamont does seem, for many on deck and those who look in his general direction, seems to be beaming a bit. For those of you who are perceptive, you note that he has no less than 3 recently inked pages of notes and ideas for how better to start promoting everything that he does and kind of keep a record or tally of his accomplishments on this journey. Hours pass. You all get your short rest in. Night begins to peel away into the breaking of dawn. In doing so, you see Fortune continuously kind of correct, while being not much of the sailor that Quas is. Often you see him like spinning the wheel, being like, oh, and try to like overcorrect away from the shoreline. The ferry itself does not move at a brisk or overly speedy pace, but it does clear most of Thunder Bay throughout the night. You feel as if you're kind of viewing glimpses of the bay itself as a whole. In doing so, dawn does come, and it's up to you guys. Do you guys want to return to a kind of long rest as the light kind of peeks out? There is a bit of relief in knowing that the sun shines out. You see that the dwarves themselves seem to change out, one of them heading into the captain's quarters while the other mans the door. They seem to be kind of working in a rotating shift now to ensure just safety of the Lord that stands within. But yeah, up to you guys. What's the plan? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I finished the only long rest that I'm getting for today, so I'll just help wherever I'm needed and stay vigilant if other people want to do their long rests.
I could probably use a long rest.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, many of you were near the end of it when you guys were interrupted, so definitely rounding out those long rests would likely be a good idea. So are the 5 of you going to return to bunks, and then Vel, you'll stay above deck to keep a watch out?
Bucky doesn't need a long rest. He's good.
Okay. So Bucky, you're like, I'm gonna tough it out. I'm gonna drink my Warlockian energy drink, and I'm fine.
I got a nap. I'm good.
Ye old arcane coffee.
Yeah, Monk being in the same boat, I'm good to go.
Okay. So the pair of you kind of tough it out. Colt, JJ, and Morgan, you guys are heading back to bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, you take your positions. You find sleep easier after a hard battle fought, and as well a long night traveled. You all continue to kind of come to terms with where you're at. This journey begins to kind of fall into place. At times, you hear Fortune call out for someone to help him with the rigging, to adjust the sail, to make sure that you guys stay with the wind, and to avoid any upcoming pieces of material that could hamper or harrow the journey, more so than these dark beings that seem to encompass much of the detriment of your journey. In doing so, you start to kind of gain your sea legs a bit. While you're only kind of coastal shoring, you all do kind of get the ins and the outs, Bucky, Orville, and Vel. You get the ins and the outs of some terminology, as well as the basics, how to move a mast, how to pull or lift the sails, how to find the wind, very basic rudimentary things. You think with the right training or more time, getting accustomed and getting used to being on a ship, you could probably find yourself as being proficient with vehicles that are traversing on the water. At the very least, a very crude understanding for many of you. That includes all 6 of you, as at your fingertips in a sense. The morning comes. Quas arises from his hastily constructed and kind of amalgamation of a resting quarter that he has assembled below deck. It effectively amounts to a pile of pillows and sheets that he's kind of strung up as best he can. But he arises from his rest. He walks the underside of the ship until he kind of takes over for Fortune. Fortune, being ever the waking individual, kind of gives a fake yawn and heads below deck to start procuring things to start cooking. Nothing as far as for a fire or any type of heat, but you see Fortune reaching into barrels, pulling out crusted bread, a bit of jerky, and at most a kind of like this kind of like smelling of salt. And as you look at it, it's this very much brined up pickle. And he puts together small packages and starts walking around. And for those of you who are sleeping, he kind of sets it down near where your station is, in very clear, visible sight that you won't like step on it or knock it over. For those of you above deck, he kind of hands these things out to you, and you hear, "Here, something to eat. Lunch is going to be like 2 apples each, so that way you don't get any, I don't know, like diseases or nothing. Keep your citrus up, And he hands out these pieces to each of you.
Well, thank you, Fortune. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for making sure the ferry didn't sink.
You're welcome. That also concerned me, so I don't feel like I need thanks for it, but you're welcome.
All right, then. I'll remember you don't need thanks. Got it. And he walks off and hands food to Bucky, hands food to Vel, and continues on with kind of just making sure everything is as is. As morning peels away into afternoon, JJ, Morgan, Colt. JJ and Morgan, you both benefit from a long rest. Colt, you find rest, but it is not much to your benefit. You've had already restful sleep within the last day or so. At this point, it's just kind of recuperating and doing your best to not get in the way of things, as you're still feeling sluggish. And especially after this recent altercation, you're just having chills and kind of like just the worst kind of heat flashes. It's just things are just not right with your body since returning, and the good doctor from Lamp MD, has returned you. Your body has not felt the same. There's a sluggishness, a weight to it, and certainly different aches and pains that encompass much of your waking moments. So, for JJ and Morgan, you all return to the crew. The day is still new, nears towards afternoon into noon. You begin to see Fortune head below deck and begin assembling a long pole with a blade at the end of it. Almost looks like a shovel with a large point. And he starts assembling this pole and bringing pieces of it up above deck. In doing so, he starts kind of strapping parts of this heavy pole onto the side. And you see him kind of leaning over the side of the deck and using it to kind of push the ferry away from more jagged pieces of ice as the water surrounding Thunder Bay continues to become harder. The more north you all head, the tougher the water continues. And in that same vein, you can continue to feel the biting cold begin to sink into much of your core of your being. For everyone here, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Do we still get advantage from cold weather gear?
Yep. If you're wearing winter or cold weather gear, you have advantage against this, as it is an environmental effect. All right, starting with Colt, what do we get?
18.
18? All right. It is cold, but you can still feel your toes. You're having a good day. Bucky, where are we at?
15.
Still doing good. Your furred, hooven legs from your satyr heritage prove quite fitting in these northern climates, and every so often it's a bit uncomfortable, but overall you manage to hold on. Orville.
We got an 11 here.
11. You begin to feel shivering cold, and you begin to feel the bite kind of lay into you, but your newfound mask that you've made out of this pillowcase has surprisingly kept your ears rather toasty. You look a bit strange, and every so often, especially after his nap, whenever Lamont seems to catch your view, you see him like itch his hand closer to his short sword, and then sees that no one else is reacting as if this is a threat, and eventually puts two and two together and goes, oh, that's Mr. Orville. Oh, I shouldn't. Okay. No, that's normal. Okay. Scary pillowcase. Okay.
The first time I noticed this, can I like attempt to go scare him?
Oh, 100%.
Like, booga him?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
Oh boy. Oh hell yeah. That's a 3 on the die.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a 3.
A 3? Okay.
Yeah.
You walk up and you see like Lamont and he like curiously like kind of like touches at the hilt and handle of a short sword and looks around to everyone else and sees that this is like normal. And there's a moment where you kind of like slowly stop and eerily turn your head, and you're trying your best to just be odd and creepy. You walk up to Lamont and you have this kind of like ooga booga kind of thing, and you like walk forward to him and you go, "Ah!" And Lamont stares at you and thinks it over, and then goes, "Ah!" and attempts to play along. He goes, "What a truly horrifying visage you have there, random stranger. Please tell me, spirit, why have you visited me this afternoon?" Seems odd for a spirit, but yes, this afternoon, spirit. Please harrow me no more.
I'm gonna give you a Christmas lesson you won't forget.
A Christmas lesson? What? Spirit, what is Christmas?
Oh, never mind. It's me, Orville.
Oh, well, very good show, Mr. Orville. I was shaking in my boots. Truly terrifying. In the event that anyone attempts to assault us in the future, I think this might be a splendid tactic to employ.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. Next time, truly, I need to make sure I pack twice as many trousers. If this is going to be a common occurrence, this is truly terrifying.
Alrighty.
He just kind of smiles at you. JJ, what is your saving throw?
I believe that was a 14.
14? All right. A little bit stiffer in the fur, but overall, the cold is welcoming to you. With your clothing and being able to be made of tougher stuff for the most part, you manage to stave off the cold and doesn't really pay you any attention. Morgan, where are we at?
I got a 13.
13? Same thing. You bundle up, manage to keep your hands warm, your feet dry. Nothing really seems to cause you any discomfort or pain. And as the cold sets in, it just becomes another common occurrence along this journey. Vel, where are we at?
19.
19. Surprisingly, for your southern heritage, you're still finding that this northern climate is much to your liking. It's cold. Not a lot of people want to talk. A lot of people are worried more about staying warm. If anything, this is a marginal improvement from normal. In summer times, people are often very chatty. They want to share drinks. This time, everyone wants to keep to themselves and more or less just huddle up for warmth if need be. It takes effort to talk, and this might be your new favorite time of the year. Afternoon begins to peel into later kind of evening, or early evening, I should say. For everyone above deck, you see Fortune call for Quas to kind of slow down. The pair of them, and with some assistance, work on the sail, and they kind of pull the sail all the way up. They say, they kind of inform you all that at this time the ferry can't move as fast as it needs to, just for fear that there might be ice or pieces above it. You see Fortune lift this heavy set kind of spear that he's assembled onto the front of the ferry atop a kind of an eye hook that sits there. It's a U-bend with a kind of screw into the very front of the ship. Sets it on the front, rope onto the back of it, and begins to angle it towards the front of the ship, almost resembling that of many of those who are vision impaired that would use with a cane or a walking stick. He kind of does the same thing. He seems to waft the heavy device backwards in front from the ferry, and every so often when he hits ice, he kind of stabs at it, and you can hear ice breaking and cracking, and he keeps at it to make sure that the ferry doesn't run into any unwanted issues. The day passes fairly uneventfully from then. You all continue to kind of monitor your day and continue on with various activities aboard the ship. For everyone here, anything you guys want to accomplish before afternoon becomes night?
I want to try to like de-stress if I can. I don't know
Sure.
if this
What do
is
you
an
wanna try to
effective
do?
method, but I presume Colt would probably. I think he would probably just make sure all of his gear's in tip-top shape, like any, I guess, soldier would do.
Okay.
He'd sharpen his weapon. He'd clean every little link in his chain mail and stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't know if that's considered relaxing. I don't know.
It's your character. So, easy to do. Colt, you set about the late afternoon, pulling out everything. You find a good open space in the floor now that there is considerably less crew. It's easier to find an area that you can call your own. You roll out the bedroll that you use for camping, and you start setting out every dagger, every sword, every part of your shield, your extra straps in case something breaks, your various materials that you use to rewrap your handles in case things get worn on the journey, your flint and tinder, any of your various tools, and you splay it all out kind of like in a very professional and militaristic setting, and set upon sharpening what needs sharpened, cleaning what needs to be picked up, and kind of working to ensure that everything is functional the moment that you need it. For this, go ahead and give me a intelligence saving throw.
$17.
17. Okay. Yeah, you set across most of the afternoon cleaning, polishing, sharpening, working with a whetstone you have and all of your various materials. As each piece of gear is treated and confirmed, there is a sense of security with each one that passes. You check your rope. It is still tough. It is still well done. You don't need to rebind it. You don't have to worry about it breaking at a moment's notice. You check your various implementations and gear, and everything seems to be intact. No holes in your backpack. No need for various repairs. Small things such as a dulled edge at the base of your sword or a few dents in your shield that need rebuffing are easy enough to do with what you have on hand. And as each piece goes through, you feel a bit more confident. You feel a bit more secure. You feel a bit calmer knowing that these are reliable things. And you regain a point of sanity. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to accomplish for the afternoon?
Go ahead.
Okay, I would like to do just one last once-over to make sure that those shadow children didn't leave behind any remains like the spider lady did.
Sure. Yeah, you spend time just looking over the various area. You can still see telltale signs where they existed, the heavy claw marks that have grained into the wood. The stains have all been pulled out, but you can still see spots where the wood has been cleaned, but almost overly so. Places where there were once stains just naturally or watery rot has been kind of pulled out, and there are kind of splotches where the blood once sat. Nothing so gruesome now, but definitely changes. But overall, you look it over, and there doesn't seem anything left of these creatures. Whatever they were or were apparated to be have since left whatever material plane or existence that you find yourself on now.
JJ's gonna round up some cups or mugs or whatever's on the ship and tap one of the kegs and pass it around.
Okay.
Just a small drink for everybody, just to shake off nerves and feeling.
Okay. From your moonshine?
Yep.
Okay. Easy to do. You find a number of small wooden mugs that would be used for the crew, just for water and distribution. You set about handing out a spot of moonshine to everyone there. The two Dwarven brothers, the Orin brothers, that guard the Lord's chambers, kind of take it, look it over, and one of them looks you up and down and goes, "It smells a bit like moonshine in there. Now, miss, we can trust you this isn't poison, yeah?"
I would hope my parents would not give me poison.
Have you been a good daughter?
I would hope so.
Have you found yourself a good husband?
No, I don't see how that's the point.
You see the other brother kind of look over and at the question and goes, "Well, if she hasn't found herself a good husband, they could be trying to poison her. That way, don't have to worry about the grandchildren problem." "No, I don't think every family's the same as ours, Some of these children nowadays, they take forever to leave the mind, if you know what I mean." "Oh, I don't know there, brother. If you're telling me that a woman that exists like that with those types of ears ain't found no one yet to bring home to mother and father, well, could be that she's a bit of a black sheep, could have reason to kill her." He goes, He looks you up and down, he goes, "Tell me here, are you your father's favorite?"
I'm the only child, so I suppose so.
"Well, by virtue of being only child, can't make another one." He goes, "I don't know that I trust it here." And he looks at you, "Pardon me if I might inquire here. You're the only child, but how old is your old man?"
In his 40s, sir.
40s? Now, okay, and he's much like you, yeah, with the ears and the pointed?
Yes.
Now, see, there's an old saying that I've heard from the Western that, like rabbits, they say. So, I mean, if he's only 40 there, he's definitely got, he's not very long in the tooth. He could definitely make another one. So, well, I do suppose he could make another one. 40's not too old to be procreating in that way. Miss, we do appreciate it, but, well, I can't afford to accidentally be poisoned to death.
That's fine, I'll take it.
They both hand their cups back. And they go, "It does smell lovely, however."
She will just drink hers and take the other two and
All right.
pour them into the same cup and walk away.
All right, you head off, and as you drink it in front of him, he goes, "Oh, there goes another one. Damn shame, damn shame." They've pretty much come to the assumption that your family might poison you to death, just from what their base assumptions are. For the rest of the crew, Quas definitely takes a cup. Fortune found in the front of the deck. You offer it to him, and he takes it, sniffs it, and he goes, "Is this poison?" I'm just messing with it. It doesn't matter. He drinks it, and you can hear as he drinks this liquid, you can almost hear it like dripping down, like much of the insides of him. You can almost hear it like this small light echo. Your long shifter ears kind of twist a bit more eerily than that, and you can almost hear like water being poured down a drain in a sense. He's like, yeah, that I'm sure that tastes like something. And he hands you the cup back.
Does it look like he's leaking?
Yeah, if you look at the ground, you look, and like right where like his stomach is, where he got attacked last night, the liquid kind of like just pours out and drains down the front of him. And there's a small like puddle, and you can smell this kind of almost embalming smell mixed in with alcohol, that kind of emanates from Fortune a bit.
Fortune, you're leaking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that kind of drink really runs through me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he turns back and starts chopping the ice again.
She's gonna take the rest of the moonshine too and just clean her blade.
All right.
And just cleaner shit.
Fair enough. For everyone else who drinks moonshine, go ahead here and give me a Constitution saving throw. If you are drinking moonshine.
Does JJ need to do this?
No, JJ is well immune to this at this point. Colt, where are we at?
That's a 4.
A 4. Colt, you slam back your cup of moonshine in front of JJ. You go, oh, thanks. Hand the cup back to her, and as she walks away, you're like, and you become very, very aware that the ship is moving, and there's kind of this uneasy rocking sensation. You're like, whoa, that's weird. And that you start trying to smell, and suddenly the smell below deck vanishes from sight. You can only smell this kind of alcohol burning smell every time you hiccup for a bit, and you enjoy a small stupor. But overall, you seem fine. Bucky, Constitution saving throw, what do we get?
Bucky's actually going to stay sober because he's worried about the shadow creatures coming back.
Holy crap. This is, looks in camera, character development. Easy to do. Orville, what did we get?
We got a 9. Y'all right there, Bucky? I ain't never seen you turn down a drink like that.
I don't want to be drunk when these things come back.
So proud of you.
Orville, much like Colt, the ship very much becomes kind of moving. In just this small amount that you've imbibed, you can already feel kind of a burning in the back of your throat. These small kind of like hiccups accompany with it, and with every hiccup you can feel this kind of gas release as the moonshine very much sits very heavy in your stomach, kind of only being soaked up by a few bites of fruit, some hard tack, and a couple of pieces of pickle that you might have had for breakfast. Overall, it definitely is like the first weighted thing you're putting in your system for the morning or for the day. And at this point, Morgan, are you drinking?
Sure, why not?
All right, what'd you get?
A 15.
15. You drink it. You see Orville hiccuping. You can hear an echo down below deck of Colt hiccuping. You sit there, lick your lips, feel fine. The flavor is great. You actually get a chance to really savor it, and you kind of swirl it around in your mouth a bit and go, that's good. You can kind of taste like the faintness from the farm in that. It's not just pure, it's not pure ethanol. It's actually like they took time to flavor and put taste into their moonshine. So good. With that, it is a bit of bonding and calming that you can do. So you can, if you're down any sanity, you can regain 1 point of sanity as you kind of calm down and take the edge off with a cool drink. Vel, are we drinking?
Politely decline, perhaps later.
All right. Declines the drink. JJ, your cup is mostly full now. 4 shots has now made a very sizable full cup of moonshine. But overall, seems good.
She'll use it to just clean some more and clean any like weird spots.
Sure. Yeah, you take the moonshine and dab a cloth in it and start kind of like polishing off places in the ship that could be considered dirty or anything of that sort. You know a few kind of rusty nails kind of further in like the back of the ship, and the moonshine clears the rust almost right off of it. It's like pouring Coca-Cola on metal. Just a terrible thing to do, but it does clean it. We've learned that. We have someone who can confirm that. Wait, this way. That guy. This fellow. So you guys kind of wait and enjoy and calm down and spend the better part of the afternoon drinking, finding a place to truly relax and otherwise get accustomed and get settled in. Anything else you guys want to do this afternoon? Beep boop. No? Okay. So the afternoon peels away into night once more. The sun begins to set on this, and in doing so, you see Quas pull hard deeper into Thunder Bay, the continuous and ever-present crashing just continuously roaming through the area. It has been moving through the bay now for the entirety of your last day and a half, almost 2 days of journey. As night falls again, Quas pulls a bit farther into the bay and kind of remarks to those of you above deck, and he goes, well, my friends, if we're to be met on seas again, I want to make them work for it. So I'm with the water it is now in the bay, I think we can afford to be a bit further away from shore. Maybe it'll dissuade them from coming aboard or attempting anything, especially since they were so soundly defeated the other night. Yes, well, I'm not quite sure as far as for guarding up here, but Fortuna and I will keep a vigilant watch this evening. If you all want to stay up, we would welcome the company, but certainly we are apt to be able to awaken you should the need arise. It's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
Well, maybe I'll watch out underneath, just because you had some issues down there before.
Of course. You had below deck. For the rest of you, anyone else want to do anything? Positions, watch, etc.?
Bucky will check the weather with his druid craft, just to see what's going on.
You pull your hand out. You begin to mutter the incantations for druidcraft. You begin to siphon off some of the energy from deep within you, your connection, your spiritual connection to your patron. And you can feel this soft, almost druidic in nature energy pull through the tips of your fingers into the palm of your hand. And as you see this, you can see just on the deck of the ship, while recently cleaned, what few bits of blown-in leaves or otherwise have washed back onto the ferry itself. You see them kind of come collected into your grip and begin to swirl and twist betwixt your fingers. You get the feeling that it is calm but windy for the day ahead.
Yeah, I'll relay that to Mr. Quas and the relevant crew.
He, Quas and Fortune, thank you for your eerily accurate proclamations thus far. And they kind of look you over and go, again, my dear Bucky, if there's ever a need, perhaps if you want to give up this whole, I know being chosen as a weaver's chosen, it's a big deal, but certainly you can see that I am in the market for good men, and certainly I would be more than capable of providing you an adequate salary full time. Just something to think about. Nothing at this point.
Maybe after all this is over, I'll come back to a life of sailing.
You'd already passed the interview, at least the first interview, so we'll see you at that.
Good to know.
For the rest of you, anything you guys want to set up or do as night comes?
I just need 4 hours to rest, then I'll be up to assist. I should be able to mend some of the damages downstairs a bit further as well by that point.
Fair enough. Morgan,
so I'll
Colt,
start my
Morgan?
long rest.
You'll start your long rest? Okay.
I'm just gonna chill above deck with Chunkini.
All right. Chunkini lays on its stomach and looks like the most miraculous olive loaf you've ever seen. A large, kind of rounded. Its feet are swallowed by its mass, and even after knowing that it's a magical familiar and doesn't require any types of substance, it doesn't stop meowing as it looks to you and nudges its head directly into your knee over and over. And go, meow, meow.
I'm gonna flick meat at it. Just a little piece of the jerky.
You flick little pieces of jerky at it, and every piece that lands kind of on or directly within neck's reach of the cat are easily lapped up. The one time where you kind of lose attention, you flick it just past it, you see the cat kind of turn and angle its head to look at it, and then just starts meowing at the piece that's just out of reach, as if it can't be bothered to get up and go get it.
Not helping him.
Yeah, so it's just for anyone above deck, you hear this between the thunderous booms that continue to roll through the bay, you now continue to hear this kind of groaning, like that continue to echo throughout the top of the ship, or the ferry. Colt, Norville, what do you guys want to be doing?
I suppose I'll sign up for one of the watches wherever I'm needed.
Fair enough. Yeah, you sign up for watches, but you do realize that most folks took their long rest in the morning, so the sleep schedule is a little bit of a mess right now. But overall, in the event that anyone else wants to rest for the evening, you know that you'd be more than able to volunteer. Colt, anything you want to be doing?
I think I'm just going to take my long rest because I'm still real beat up.
You are, in fact, looking a little busted. JJ, where are we at?
She's just gonna keep an eye out below deck.
Okay.
Mostly.
Yeah, just moving below deck, easy to do. And I think that's, well, yeah, we're good. All right. So, night comes. The ship, the ferry, begins to pull further away from the shoreline. The few of you that find some comfort and rest or meditation begin to. The ship pulls a bit further from the shoreline. For those of you who are above deck, you can kind of look out, and from the several hundred feet away from shoreline, you can still see that while there is pitched darkness, every so often a pair of bright yellow eyes seem to stare out back at the ship from the darkness. You can almost hear this kind of whispering hiss that seems intermittently peeling through the land. A soft kind of hazy fog begins to roll in from the shoreline, and you can feel almost a remarkable heat that emanates from the shore. While everything is very cold, there is a heft or almost a steam that encompasses and makes up this mist as it rolls towards the ship. What do you guys want to do? You do note Fortune walking around the ferry, lighting lanterns to make sure that they're still within visible range.
Bucky will help him light those lanterns with Druidcraft.
Okay. You set about lighting lanterns. Morgan or Orville, anything you two want to do?
I should return the dagger to Morgan. I'll do that.
Okay. Walk up, hand the dagger over. Easy in, easy out.
I don't want it. You can keep it.
Oh,
It's got bugs on it and shit. It's all you.
Can Orville attempt to lick the blade clean
Sure.
and
Yeah.
then hand it back?
Give me, I don't know, that'd be just a dexterity check. Screw it. No, sleight of hand. I guess sleight of hand's relevant. Yeah.
That's a nat 20.
A nat 20? Like a certain blue trademarked alien who is from another world and arrives in Hawaii, you lick the blade with this kind of viscous, slimy mucus in your spit. You've been salivating now for a little over a couple hours after this moonshine has hit you. So the whole time you've kind of just you've had a lot of spit after this. You take the blade and it is clean as a whistle. After you kind of presented to Morgan a kind of a draping line of slime kind of crests off of the blade and drips onto the ground, almost hitting Chunkini. But you now have almost a polished blade in front of Morgan.
See, there you go. No more bugs. All yours.
Sure. Thanks.
Takes the knife, plastic bag. Evidence. So you reclaim the knife. This fog rolls in and encompasses the ferry. Huas kind of like looks about and he goes, "Strange. That's so warm." You begin to see the fog kind of twist and turn and begin to slowly, in the middle of the deck of the ship, begin to pull forward and rise into a shape. You see this very tall, almost like hunched looking figure that stands in the mist as the sun peels behind the horizon and falls into complete darkness. And you see this very tall, nearly encompasses about 6.5 foot or so, and it's just a kind of a collection of fog that has risen from the center of your ferry. And you see it kind of slowly begin to mold and shape into various almost humanoid-like features of this large kind of cloaked figure. And it kind of seems to eerily look. You can see two listless lights like fireflies illuminate where the front of its face should be. And you can hear this groaning voice kind of echo out across the ferry, and you hear, "Resources continue to be squandered from what you are doing. Your resistance to what must come is impetuous, to say the least. You are clearly creatures possessed with purpose, for what you carry must be taken. If not now, you will never know a night's rest. Surrender what you carry, or again we will come, and we will succeed. You are, after all, only mortals." And you see this figure just looming, and this fog is now kind of collected into this heavy-set figure, and is slowly like kind of wisping off of this. It's almost like a slouched, gaunt figure. There's no facial features to speak of. It's just a heavy-set, like what looks like a hood from a heavy cloak, but it's just kind of like it's like a, I don't know, like it just. Palpatine with the cloak, like it's mostly a cloak outline. You get the outline of what the creature might be, but it's not enough of like defined features or anything of that sort. What do you all want to do?
Does JJ hear this at all?
You can hear this, like, even though it's like a gauntish kind of growling whisper, you can still hear it very clearly below deck. It's almost as if the wood and the walls of the ferry are not impeding the sound of whatever this thing's voice is.
She'll come back above deck.
Comes back above deck. You see this like rolling pillar of fog that is in the shape of some humanoid type creature. Its piercing eyes, like dancing fireflies, seem to kind of move and shift eerily amid the fog, but continue to kind of maintain a position for almost what would make encompass its face. Anything the four of you would like to do?
I mean, could we at least know what's going on, Mr. Shadow Man?
Shadow Man? So you say, what? Can we at least know what's going on? Is that the thing?
What's going on? What exactly are you after?
So you kind of go through that. You see the fog kind of twist and warp, and the two fireflies turn in your direction. And you can hear this kind of growling voice once again. You hear, "You pretend to not know what your mortals have taken. A object not belonging to this area, and the lands past your watch, and the lands past your porcelain towers. It was pilfered, it was taken, it will be recovered. I have been sent from El Kasev, the Heralded One, and by his virtues, by his blessings, and by the light of his mercy, I will see this task done regardless of what obstacles and obstinance you continue to profess.
Can you spell that?
Sure.
The heralded one's name for me.
Sure. That's Ale, A-L-E, K-S-E-E-V.
I mean, I don't know them all too much, and we were just hired for something. And to be honest, we really don't know a whole lot. I'm not quite sure that I know a whole lot about your heralded one either. I promise that me and my friends truly mean you no harm. We're not entirely sure what's going on, Mister. If you got a better name.
A name is but unimportant for the task at hand. A name is something you mortals continue to empower and ingrain with your emotions. Such is beyond this one's station. It is not to say that you are not anticipant of what occurs. Merely you are not prepared for the repercussions of those who would act in your stead. This which you carry, which you have robbed from the heralded one, which you have stolen from our lands, which is ours to return, which is not yours, is in your best interest to surrender. We have killed much of you aboard this vessel, and before your journey's end we will kill the rest, should we not be met with our demands.
Could I have a moment, Mister? And JJ's going to turn away and kind of scrounge in her hair and pull out little Vaz and ask, have you ever heard of this Aloe, whatever his name is, the heralded one?
Sorry, hold on. I once heard of aloe vera. Really good stuff. Cleans the skin tremendously. Alakazamo, never. I mean, I could probably find out what it'll cost you.
How much will it cost me?
Ooh, what do you got?
I got some moonshine.
Moonshine.
I've got this lucky rabbit's foot.
Is it your foot?
No, it's not my foot, unfortunately.
Pass.
I got time.
Time is good.
I got the ability to maybe kill things. I don't know what you're looking for, Bess. I just need help.
Hold on. Let's fix this. Let's fix this issue real quick. Oh, I have to put it above. It's not going to work. I have to put it over here. There we go. Up by JJ. You hear this kind of like small voice near the back of your ear. He goes, time. Time is good. Yes, I'll take your time. We'll say a year.
A year on this plane?
Yeah, a year off your lifespan. It'll be very useful.
That's fine.
All right, we got a deal?
We got a deal, Mr. Vaz. She's gonna hold out her finger so
right.
she can shake.
You feel a prick of the tip of his like clawed hand crest into the front of your finger, drawing just a droplet of blood. He moves it back, and you can hear this kind of like, and you feel this kind of slow presence, this pulling sensation, as a bit of your physical body begins to leave you. You lose a year off your life, and you take a -1 to all of your stats, until your next long rest.
Sounds like
After doing so, he goes, "All right, kid. Give me a minute. I'll ask around." And you feel a weight lift off the back of your head, and as you kind of like pad back, Vasler is gone.
Oh, that feels so better. Sorry about that.
The fog kind of billows and looks and goes, "Curious."
I mean, this ain't my decision to make. This kind of our whole decision. I don't know how everyone else is feeling.
Turn and look at the rest of the group. Bucky, Orville, Morgan, what are you guys feeling?
I mean, it's not really up to us to give it back.
You say that, the figure turns in your direction and goes, "But it can be up to you to return it and end this ceaseless nonsense."
Can't we just borrow it for a while?
Your kind has a history with borrowing from our domain. Many of you have borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. The word itself originates from Bavain, the one you herald as a weaver, the first borrower of forbidden things and those beyond those of your realm. If you are such as Bavain, a borrower, then truly you cannot be trusted.
Accurate.
Honesty is refreshing from your kind.
Now, what do you mean when you say your kind?
You see a turn, and this like fog kind of turns, and these two, again, the pillar of fog kind of rotates softly, and these kind of fireflies fall out from the front of its face and then slowly flitter back into what would make eyes. And you can feel a presence looking upon you, Orville. And you hear this voice again kind of emanate out from this fog cloud and go, "Your kind, you mortals, those of you who wander the countless lands known as the Everwield, a patchwork of sand amidst a sea of chaos and truth, those who walk this land, those who draw breath from this air, those who swear their lives to the realm weavers."
Right, thank you for the clarification. Sir, madam, scary dark entity thingy.
I'll take the latter.
You got it, scary dark entity thingy.
Anything else you guys want to communicate or say?
I feel like Bucky's gonna like run beneath deck and yell for all the people that are sleeping to come up.
All right, you see the two dwarves like standing there, like weapons are already drawn. Lamont is very much asleep, right across from Colt, and Vel is in a meditative stance. You head below deck.
Yep. Bucky's gonna be like, "Yeah, we need to get everybody on deck right now."
You shake Colt awake. You shake Vel awake. You shake Lamont awake. Lamont goes, five more minutes, my good man. Five more minutes, and I will venture into battle. 5 more minutes.
Come on, Lamont. I'm gonna slap him on the face.
He like his eyes bolt awake. He goes, "All right, we're fighting." He draws a short sword.
I like that spirit.
He hops up out of bed.
You know how incredibly stupid that is, right?
What, to slap someone awake?
What?
Never mind. I'll explain it to you when we're all not dead. Hopefully later today.
Oh. She seems rather smart, sir.
I mean, I've already died a few times. What's one more death on my stripe thing, whatever mark? You know what I'm trying to say.
Like a zebra, sir.
Yeah, just another stripe on a zebra's back.
There we go. Yes, that's a saying I've heard.
Yeah,
of course. She knew that.
Teamwork. High five.
he like hops up. Yeah. What team? Lamont heads up next.
Coming to theaters this summer. Lamont and Colt buddy cop comedy.
Oh God. So the three of you arrive up on deck. You see this fog, this like rolling mist that is collected in the center of the ferry and has kind of loomed over. You hear it kind of grumble. You hear, much like vermin, they continue to arrive. You see Lamont go, oh God, and chucks his short sword directly at it. And you see the short sword fly through the creature and disrupt it for a moment, like the center of it where it pierces through, kind of creates a circle as the fog is pulled with the windlass of it. And then you hear this plunk and a splashing sound as his short sword goes into the drink. He goes, you weren't vanquished by that. You hear, very perceptive. He goes, thank you. May I have my sword back? You go, you may swim for it, mortal. He goes, I'd rather not, so I will stand here menacingly.
I'm going to give him one of my hand axes.
He takes it and it like drops to the ground. And he's, whew, that's heavier. Okay, and he hefts it over his shoulder. You note that as he hefts the hand axe over his shoulder, the actual wood of the hand axe sinks about 3 inches below where his shoulder should be.
That's kind of weird.
Right, so we have a guest tonight who actually wants to speak.
He said, give it up or die.
Reasonable.
At least they're giving us an option. All our previous visitors have just been die.
That's not true. The first ones gave us this option too.
Well, they didn't visit us so much as we happened upon them.
Yes.
He says he's of the heralded one. She'll also relay the name to Belle. I don't know if that means anything to you. As a
history, arcana.
History, actually.
Could I also roll on that?
If you're trained in history? Yeah, if you're trained in history, you can certainly roll.
Ouch.
What did we get, Belle?
I got a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
No. You know the name's origin has something to do with alcohol, probably, because ale, but it's probably, you're probably just like, whatever.
Another
Orville,
one of those JJ things.
Another one of them horrible JJ things. Clearly her fault. What did we get, Orville?
Like a 2.
A 2. Somebody apparently speaks rather highly of this individual. They're heralded. Someone heralds them. Neat.
Can't say that I'm familiar. Where, since we don't really know your heralded one so well, where does he herald from?
You know not the lands of which you have trespassed, that those among you are still affected and malayed by. You play, you know. While you are immortal, your fainted ignorance is not an admirable quality at this exchange. I would warn you, this is the very least of my humility for your actions. I will not be played for a fool. You know why you are. I rode. You know what it is I seek. You do not need to spell such for you. But perhaps this has all been quite a coincidence. Your survival.
If I may, you're trying to convince us to return this to you, but you're not offering us much information. Now, I can make assumptions on what I believe the reasons are, but you could be more forthcoming and perhaps we could come to an agreement. But you seem to assume that we know everything. We know some things.
You kind of see the fog twirl and billow out, and it seems to rise and fall about a foot on all sides, kind of like booming and then slowly moving through. And you hear this kind of hissing sound. You hear, well then, let us hope that your assumptions are correct. Perhaps I have clearly overestimated these adversaries that continue to thwart my many attempts. Even now, so close to my goal as I view it in sight. And you see the fireflies angle down on Lamont. It is yet beyond my grasp. But for how long can this venture continue? How long until you are worn down like stone and broken into grains of sand beneath the onslaughts? How long do you have left to play the fool? I wonder.
I'm going to stand in front of Lamont.
You stand in front of Lamont, and Lamont peeks out from your side. He's like, "No, Mr. Honeycutt, I'm intimidating him. I'm establishing dominance. Look at my heroic pose."
You're doing a great job, buddy. I just want to stand in front of you real fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you go ahead and do that if you think it's right.
Yeah. Anybody gonna say anything? Or should I start talking? Because it's a mistake if I start talking to this thing, because I don't know how to deal with these big old shadow creatures. I know how to deal with people, not shadow creatures.
He's not interested in talking, Coat. It's a decision right now. Do we hand him what he wants, or do we not? He's offering us a chance, and he's not interested in any pleasantries beyond that.
I ain't handing him Lamont. I like this little guy now.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
the issue is, too, we can make some big ol' enemies real fast. We've already got a big ol' enemy, and she's gonna look over to the specter shadow thing. But to have an entire kingdom against us, and Our Lady, and the Weavers.
Oh, yes, I never said it was a good idea. I'm just stating the fact because Colt's going to start telling him a story, and it's just going to drag on until this thing starts killing us. So I
had no intention of doing that.
Don't lie to me, Colt.
Stupid. I wasn't going to tell a story. You believe me, right, Lamont? I wasn't going to tell a story.
And he looks at you, and then he looks at Vel, and there's definitely a check in his brain of who he's more afraid of or who he more respects. And he goes, I personally enjoy your story, so.
All right, that's it.
Perhaps a grand epic might be in order, or a fable, if you have them. They might be spectacular in this instance.
All right.
Story might be a bit lowbrow.
I don't
right.
Appropriate.
Miss Val.
So, hi, yes.
Would this be a good time to contact the lady?
Does it really look like a good time to contact her?
I don't know.
Her interests were not in returning what we knew to the people who claim it as their own. Her interest was in potentially going to someone else.
That's her.
I'll just kind of look around the group and get a general consensus that everyone is still in for this and not broken and wanting to give up.
Feel free. You guys need to speak amongst yourselves without having to worry about the thing. If you guys want to speak out of character, that's fine.
Yeah, not.
I just don't want to put us in like a, because I'm just gonna tell this thing to go fuck off at this point, because like I work for our boss and we made an agreement with these people, and I'm not gonna have someone who comes here and tells me I'll kill you if you don't do this. Like, no, you go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and I mean,
Hey, you there, buddy? Fuck you, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy.
I mean, he's here for a reason. I think he's a little beat down too, so.
But we all knew that this was gonna be every night, these things. And also he's kind of incorporeal, so I'm curious if this is just a threat while he regains his strength. Because he was like, it's out of my grasp even right now, and Colt just brought Lamont up anyways. Which I both love and hate, because I like that we know where he is and he's not getting grabbed down below, but I also hate having him this close to the thing. But yeah, is everyone's good with just telling the shadow to go F itself?
Yeah.
Seems to have been our strategy so far.
Go kick rocks,
Yeah,
kid.
no complaints here.
I don't take orders from a shadow. They take orders from me. Right then. So after looking around and kind of getting a general consensus that even though we are all tired of this bullshit and would want it to be over, we are not remotely near our wills being broken. I'm afraid we're going to have to stand in your way. We've made an agreement and a promise on our name and our ladies, and the casual threats of those who can't even keep one of us down for a day aren't really enough to make us stop yet.
Curious phrasing. Keeping you down seems to be the point in this endeavor. So I suppose my efforts must be redoubled. Perhaps this will be what needs done. It isn't so much to kill those who are uninvited to this conflict, but to ensure pain and suffering until you see reason, which can very well be done. You have made your choice. It is the hope in service to my master that you can live with such a thing for those who follow in my master's wake are not as welcoming to mortals as I am.
To be fair, you weren't that welcoming.
This will be fun. I hope you are at least entertaining. You see the fog fall into the ground and brush out from the decks and sides of the ferry, kind of pulling off with a heavy weight, almost like water dispersing and splashing across the ferry. I need everyone to make me a wisdom saving throw. And I gotta roll one for your boy. Colt, where are we at?
13.
13? Okay. Bucky, where are we at?
12.
Okay. Orville, where are we at?
17.
Okie dokie. JJ, where are we at?
12.
Okay. Morgan, where are we at?
3.
Okie dokie. Vel, where are we at?
I'll join you, Morgan. 9.
9. Right. Orville, you feel this fog kind of roll over you to no avail. The heat of it seemingly dispersed as if there was some presence in the mist that has now passed and washed over you. For the rest of you, you feel the heat intertwine with shards, with sharp feelings of some type of almost ethereal cold that seems to envelop and encompass your form. You can feel a biting, a twitch, an itch, something uncomfortable And it passes in a mere moment. And that is it. In just a few breaths from now, time passes, the fog dispersed, the figure and creature gone. As quickly as it came, it seems to be nowhere near wherever you might be. And the ferry continues to pull forward. You see Lamont twitch and move his head. He looks at Colt, he goes, Mr. Honeycutt, clearly our intimidation tactic of stacking up has thwarted this villain and sent him packing.
You're right, Lamont. I think we scared him off.
I think we did too. I think we did a miraculous thing. And he kind of just smiles like happily. After this event and kind of passes through, you guys find your bearings and the night becomes eerily quiet. The rocking of the ship slowly falls into rhythm. The sounds of Thunder Bay continue to echo out, and we will take our break. So let's go ahead and take 10 minutes here. We are currently at 9:02. We'll come back at 9:13. Sounds fun. And with that, when we come back, we'll continue the session and continue the journey. For everyone watching with us, thanks for staying up late with us. As always, we'll be back in a flash, and we'll continue the story as we go. See you in a bit. Wink. All right, cool. As we, slappity dap. I gotta pull rhythm back up. I forgot I muted rhythm. There we go. Nice and easy. Welcome back. Thanks for everyone who's sticking with us. It's been real nice that y'all like watching us, and we do appreciate you a bunch. As always, if you like what we're doing here and you know friends that might think it's cool or want to check it out, or you want to talk about how bad a DM I am, cool. YouTube, right down below. Go to the page, comment section, like, dislike button, go nuts on it. Share it around, be like, look at this guy. Look at this man playing D&D with his nerds. Ugh. And then, I don't know, do whatever. If you like what we're doing here, feel free. Check us out, share it around, whatever. We're always trying to get followers and all that kind of stuff. And I know people have an interest that I've seen in getting more, refixing my volume, there we go, in getting more like emote slots and stuff for chat. If you haven't already, if you subscribe with us, it does help the channel out. Effectively, I learned that when you subscribe, you get more subscriber points, is what I think they're called. And the more of them you have, the more emote slots you unlock and all that nonsense. And then Twitch starts treating you like a real person instead of just like a leech that does that. So if you're ever so inclined to it, we do appreciate and thank you. We have one emote so far that's locked in, and then you'll start getting these little like streamer badge type things. And we have, thanks to the incomparable Doomington, I feel like I always have to say his name like that. We have emote or badges. They're not emotes. Badges that change every single month that you stay consistent subscribing. So if it's something you guys are liking and enjoying, please consider keeping up with it. I think if you have Twitch Prime or something, you get it for free. Is that right? Colt knows more about this than I do.
Yeah, I'll chime in here.
Oh, Orville does. Oh, cool. Yeah, whoever.
Yeah, no. If you've got Amazon Prime, they give you a free subscription every single month. It's,
free shipping.
Use it or lose it. So if you want to steal $5 from Jeff Bezos, all you gotta do is click a button down below. Thanks.
Neat. Yeah, I have no idea how that works. I figured out how to work Streamlabs OBS, and I now own Fantasy Grounds and stuff. That was cool. But overall, this whole like streaming thing has kind of just been like a it's kind of how I ran Emberstone back in the day, was throw the cart down a hill, and as it's roaring past and falling apart, just keep hammering more pieces onto it, and hopefully it works and people find it interesting. By the time you hit the bottom of the hill, maybe it's cool. Ooh, community challenge, 50% complete. Neat. I'm not sure. We might not hit one. I don't know. This is our, second week? So we have one more week for the Path Not Ventured to be put points into. So yeah, might have to look into it. Yeah. I know I'm gonna try it. I did a stream before that was Slasher's Keep, which is a heck of a lot of fun. Small shout out to Slasher's Keep. The hope is to in the future do more like intermittent gaming streams. I know I'm very excited for Cyberpunk, but I don't think you're allowed to stream that game, both because there's like a message about it, and then also because there's some stuff in it. Like, look it up. There's some stuff in it. Yes, Orville. That type of thing. So I might just make it a thing that I only play Slasher's Keep as like the streaming game. It seems pretty safe. It's really cute. If you haven't checked it out, really cool game. But we'll do that just so that people can, again, mute the stream or whatever and just earn points, so that more of these goals are things you can go with, or if you have an interest in redeeming them for any of our things like raiding your homebrew or devising a quest or an item or something like that sort, that'll be available for you too. No pressure, which is something that we like to have for interactivity, and that's that. So bring us back into Dungeons and Dragons. You guys spoke with a fog, a being composed of mist, vapor, and steam, and fireflies, who spoke to you about a rather new name that has been bespoke to you. The Heralded One, Aelkasev. And with that, this being has forewarned or laid its message out clearly. As you guys have been assaulted and hampered and harrowed in your journey, this being is doing so at the behest of the Heralded One. And so long as this item is in your possession and it is away from where this creature or being claims that it belongs, this will continue and it will progress even further. So, you guys find yourselves atop the deck of the ship, this fog rolling and breaking across you this evening. It is still fairly early into the evening at this point. What do you all want to be doing?
I would, before going back to my rest, like to take a moment to cast Identify on myself and see if that foggy nonsense left anything upon me.
Sure. You'll start it up. It takes 11 minutes. In that meantime, does anyone want to be doing something? You see Vel begin chanting to herself. She places a hand upon her temple and begins to roll a pearl back and forwards across the front of her forehead, seeming to be muttering an incantation to herself. For the rest of you, anything you guys want to try to do?
I'm going to start training Lamont to fight.
Okay. Lamont kind of looks you up and down and goes, right. Yes, I will happily take up your training, sir. How much does it cost to learn to be a Weaver's Chosen? I'm feeling the call.
I mean, I can't make you a Weaver's Chosen, but
what?
I want to at least, show you some basics if I could, if you'd like. I mean, I don't know how much you know about fighting, but I'm sure, we could offer each other knowledge. There's always something. I'm not so big-headed that I don't think I can learn something from you, and you can't learn something from me. So.
Okay. Well, yes, that sounds good. I could teach you. Maybe we could exchange. I could teach you something here. I don't know what don't you know, Mr. Honeycutt? You're a Weaver's Chosen. I assume you have any number of things at your disposal. I want to be fair, though.
Well, I mean, we could just just think of it as maybe you'll pay me back someday, and we'll just maybe spar or something, and I could teach you some basic things here, if you'd like.
Yes, I would very much like that, to be a bit more apt and adept with the blade. However, you will excuse me, it seems that in my battle with our foggish entity, he has disarmed me, and I am without a weapon.
I gave you that axe.
Oh, with this? And he, has this, hand axe. Because I thought, swords and horses and... things that like more. No, this is more like a chopping implement. Is that how heroes do it with axes? And you hear like a grumbling and a laugh from behind Laurent. He goes, "Oi, you seen us use axes, and you don't think we're very heroic?" He goes, "Oh no, I didn't mean I didn't mean that you aren't heroic. I just assumed like swords are more like what there, friend? Perhaps what a bit more of an elven nature, or more like these Humes? What, you're too good for an axe? I'll tell you, my uncle once felled a troll with an axe, cut him into pieces, and watched the pieces regrow before he chopped him into even more pieces. We ate like saints for a month." He goes, "You ate a troll?" He goes, "Yep, sure did." And you hear, "Yeah, he even shit out a couple fingers." He goes, "Oh, I stand corrected, Mr. Honeycutt. Apparently an axe is a suitable weapon. I will happily take on your training."
Yeah, and this axe is just like a kind of like a starting point, at the very least.
Right. Okay. Well, yes. Starts where it is. He'll follow you wherever to do training.
All right. Yep.
All right. All right. So, anyone else? You see Vel still finishing and working on her spell. Anything else you guys want to start on or work on? No? All right. Easy to do. Time passes. Vel, your spell goes off. You gain a bunch of information. You hear your inner self, your true arcane self kind of whisper these arcane secrets to you. You hear your name, where you're from, basic rudimentary information you already know about yourself, the fact that you are a high elf, the fact that you have an affinity for your school of magic, some very basic identifying things about you, surface level things, and then a curious thing, and it says that you have been cursed by a servant of Vito.
Vito?
Vito. Vito. And it isn't so much that I don't think identify normally tells you if something or something is cursed specifically. But in this instance...
That's kind of a DM discretion thing.
Yeah. In this instance, it is more that the identify spell is telling you this is something that you're currently being affected by this thing. It technically isn't a spell, but it is something that you've been put upon, and you can feel a bit about it. It's not so hidden, I should say.
Yeah. Would I have any insight into Vito?
It's a name.
For a history check, or?
Vito is a fairly common name, all things considered. It'd be like, if it was like Steven. What do I know of Steven? It's like, he's a nice guy, works at the corner market, wonderful at parties. But yeah, just Vito. I don't know, maybe you've heard of a Vito before. There's a couple lawyers named Vito. They're cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Short tempers. But that's what you find.
Well, I don't want to alarm anyone, but a few of us may have been cursed. I'll just head back to finish my rest then.
Walk back and head back to bed. Easy to do. Vel announces this, then without waiting for questions from the newsroom, just leaves. Just like, well, deuces. As time passes, JJ, you feel a presence loom over you, and you hear, "Finally, I have returned from my venture." Hey, kid. You feel this back on the side of your head. You hear, what's going on?
Well, I think I'm cursed.
Oh, well, that sucks. Wait, is it a good curse? Like one of the fun ones?
You know, I felt a weird, coldness, and then Bill just said, well, we might be cursed, and then she went to bed.
How are your jellies? How are the jellies feeling? Do you feel like your jellies are cursed?
Vaz, what are jellies?
It's like that feeling deep down within your soul. What really makes a soul delicious? You know, your jellies. What makes you you? Delicious jellies.
Yes, Vaz, my jellies.
Oh, if you feel it in your jellies, that's a bad one. That's a real bad one.
Great. Did you find any information for that year of my life you took?
Information? Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I sure did. Deal's a deal. I asked around. I got a little distracted, a little drunk, not gonna lie. But yeah, I found out some stuff here. You were asking about that Ailey guy, right?
Alexev or whatever the hell.
Yeah, Heraldy one. Yeah, I remember. I remembered that. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what really good news is or bad news is to people like you. So I'm just split. The fella's name, Alkazev, kind of is making the rounds in some of my circles. A couple people really happy to see me. It's been quite some time. But overall, yeah, real bad news, that guy.
I mean, I kind of figured it. Is he one of your type?
One of my types?
Like,
No.
like
No, well, okay, first off, rude. I'll have you know, I'm a demon.
Okay,
That's
I'm sorry.
offensive.
A demon.
No, it's okay, elf. See, how do you like it? It doesn't feel good, does it?
No,
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
think it did.
sorry.
Easily to say, no, not one of our people, and not one of even Devil's people. I asked around to a buddy of mine, real tall fella, big horn, you'd love him. But I asked around, and well, apparently this fella's making a bit of a name for himself in the underside, if you know what I'm meaning. You are aware that there is a pool of energy of negative thoughts where all sadness and sorrow come from for all living things here, yeah?
I wasn't entirely sure, but thank you for that information.
Oh, I should have charged for that. Okay, well, yeah, no, I mean, a simple thing there. So, how do I explain it? So, the way you guys interpret it is that these three idiots got together and kind of pieced up your place, your Everwield, right? Well, they were kind of messy, in my professional opinion. Very, very messy. Rather than just, creating things, which would be the smart thing to do, they decided to put all their parts in different areas and borrow from a number of worldly powers that were well beyond their cognition, in my personal professional opinion. This Alkazev seems to have been a ruler at one point from among the initial cropping from these weavers, and has since now kind of made the rumor has made a pact with a very powerful person on the other side. Everyone was real hush-hush about who this individual was, but suffice to say, the way that my people talk about it, not good. Not good for you. I mean, probably good for me. Business is going to be great. But overall, it seems like you're kind of screwed. If I might be so inclined, you're pretty fucked, kid.
Well, there's kind of a solace in knowing that we're fucked either way.
I suppose it's better to see it coming than to be surprised by it. Otherwise, that's the hard R word, and we don't use that here.
Well, I gotta think. But, well, shit. Thank you, Vaz. I appreciate it.
Sure. If you happen to have a question about him or something you really want to know, let me know and we can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I suppose there wasn't anything else big that you learned while you were down there.
I mean, A couple of things. First off, souls do not trade for the same price that they used to back in the day. You used to be able to get a nice maiden soul, just an untouched, unfiltered soul, and you could trade that for a handful of vicious Vakers or any type of, a buy-in at a card game. Does not work the same way anymore. You mortals really need to clean up your shit, because honestly, inflation has completely taken over my racket. If you could, I don't know, make something of yourselves, or, maybe get me some good quality souls. Apparently ant souls don't exactly trade for what they used to, so really, step your game up a little bit. I'd really appreciate it.
I will attempt to do so for you, Basler.
All right. You do that. I'll be here. Watching.
Right. Thank you. All right.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of like nestles back behind your ear, and like you start feeling like pulling on your hair. And as you kind of like, as you felt there before on the back of your head, there's like a mat of your hair that he's kind of weaved into almost like a small home. And he kind of crawls in to the tuft of your hair, and it's like flattened, and it kind of almost feels like a pair of dreads that he's kind of like flattened and like oiled back there to be like this small little nest on the back of your head. Yep. Vasler returns to where he's from. So for the rest of you, you hear about the might be cursed incident, and that's where you're at. Anything you guys want to do or accomplish as the night continues to further in deeper into midnight? Yes, Colt. Ooh.
So Colt has overheard the curse.
Mm-hmm.
So probably in the middle of training Lamont. Wait, what the fuck did you just say? Did you say curse?
And Vel like walks all the way down. Just goes back to sleep.
No. You don't get to leave. What kind of curse?
So Vel, as you sit back in your area, legs crossed, eyes closed, you hear Colt's graining voice like nails on a chalkboard. Lamont right behind him, going like, "Oh, yes. What curse?"
Yeah, what curse?
What curse?
I would just glare at Lamont for a moment.
And he's like, he takes the same, like, whatever position Colt's in, he's also in that position. Like, he's just like a little mini Colt.
I'm telling you, I found my sidekick. This is my sidekick. Everybody gets a pet. I want a sidekick.
He's not a goddamn Pokemon. Jesus.
As much as I know is that I have been cursed by a servant of Veto. I don't know exactly what that means. If you would like me to check you as well, I can. But that is about all I'll be able to get of it, without further more powerful magical means, which I do not possess. I also do not possess the means to properly remove a curse. And before you say it, I do not believe that Mr. Fortune will be able to help you with this one either. It's
Damn it, I was just about to say that too.
Yes, I know what you were going to say. You're very predictable.
Alright. Well, I guess,
If you really want it to be fixed, I would go offer something to JJ's hair.
Offer something to JJ's hair. Oh, yeah, that's right. Her weird talking hair.
Miss JJ has talking hair?
Yeah, she does. It's weird. I've never seen it before.
Clearly she is magical.
Yeah, her hair is at least.
Do you think we could cultivate her hair and fashion it for our own uses, Mr. Honeycutt?
I mean, I tried to discuss that with her because apparently her hair brought me back to life when I died. So I told her.
Colt.
Yeah.
What will her mother do to you if you touch a hair on her head?
I'm not going to touch her hair. She touched me with it, alright? I did no such thing.
Just saying, what you're discussing right now involves taking her hair, and you know what that'll do to you.
I'm not taking anyone's hair. I said that we could make we could start healing people across the land. I'm not saying I'm gonna take her hair. I said she could come with us. I'm not gonna just rip hair out of her head. Not some savage.
Colt, magic talking hair has a price. You'll need to understand that eventually.
Well, it ain't a damn curse. So, unless he's gonna put a curse
It's kind
on...
of worse, honestly, but that was her decision to make.
Look, I'm gonna go talk to her hair. Wait,
Alright,
I
you
need
have
you to
fun
tell
with
me
that.
if I have a
Please let me
curse.
rest.
I need you to tell me if I have a curse.
Fine. I will.
Thank
Once again, this takes 11 minutes. You're not allowed to move an inch.
you. Alright, I'm gonna sit crisscross applesauce on the ground.
Lamont kind of looks at you and goes, do I need to be here for this?
I mean, you can if you
You're
want to.
his bitch.
Whoa,
No,
what?
he's not. Whoa.
When did that
I'm
happen?
sorry. No.
I
Thought
take
that's
that
what's
offense.
happening between you two. Am I
No, he is
confused?
his own man. He has stood up on his own. I'm very proud of him.
That's
He
absolutely right.
is. Yeah.
I'm offended.
You're
Miss
always right
Bellafield.
behind him. You're doing the same thing as him. You're repeating what he says. It's kind of. I was wondering if you were going to start keeping some fingers in his back pockets. I wasn't sure.
I will have you know.
What does that even mean?
I will have you know, specifically, I am my own bitch. And then
That's
he goes and walks away, feeling like he's won the conversation.
Right then. Now that one half of my headache is gone, don't move. I will start rubbing Colt with
Ooh.
magic.
Oh, okay, that's way to
I will make sure to say
Just-
all of it in Elvish and
Well.
as aggressive. Actually, no, I'll say it all in like Abyssal or whichever horrible infernal language I have.
Oh, so it sounds
Which one do
super
I have?
spooky.
I have infernal, so I say everything in a horrible ass infernal language as I do this.
You just you mutter an infernal, and every like eighth word is "You are not prepared," because that's what infernals do, right? And then you have to
Yeah.
shout the word "infernal." That way, we got to get the WoW community in on this stream.
You better not be
Um,
cursing me more. This sounds like a curse.
It's a lot like a curse.
Just accept it.
Just let it happen.
I'm very uncomfortable right now. I am incredibly uncomfortable with that
Colt, you
statement.
asked for this.
Oh, jeez.
I don't say things like that. I don't like that at all. Blueberry muffins. That's my safe word. Blueberry muffins.
What a curious safe word. Why is it 2 words? All right. Anyway, so 11 minutes pass. You get identify on Colt. Colt, you realize you get like he's a hobgoblin. You get that he is a trained fighter. You get that he has military service. You understand that he is a Weaver's Chosen under the house of Lady Galanti. You know that he has no ongoing diseases that you can tell, and you get a feeling that he is recently returned from the grave as something that is whispered to you. And then, of course, confirming it, you get that he is cursed by Veto. Cursed by a servant of Veto, specifically.
Colt,
Yeah.
you're cursed.
God damn it. All right.
I really wanted to lie to you, but it's just I don't have it in my heart to do that to you right now. Mostly because I want you to go away.
All right. I'm gonna go talk to JJ's hair. If that don't work, I am gonna talk to Fortune. I know he knows.
No, he doesn't.
All right. So you head back above deck. For the rest of you, anything you guys want to do or accomplish? No. All right. Colt, you head back up deck. You find JJ finishing a conversation with herself, and then kind of like twitch and like scratch the back of her head a little bit before kind of resuming just like playing and accompanying Bucky with his pan flute as they both are kind of like in that. It's like when 2 people are at the same subway station and one's playing the drums, one's playing the guitar, but they're not trying to work together. They're both kind of just like, let me just throw these three chords in there, and they're like, oh, I'll play these 5 chords. What's up? And it's just like they're making a melody, but they're not like actually working together, kind of thing. So yeah, you approach. JJ Colt like beelines for you, crosses the whole deck. You see Lamont like, how'd it go? Oh, okay, bye.
Hey there, JJ.
Can I help you?
I need to speak to your magical hair to remove this curse on me.
Colt, my hair is not magical.
You said that your hair was magical, alright?
I don't think I ever said my hair was magical.
Somebody said your hair was magical, and it was talking, and it brought me back to life.
I believe that was Fortune.
Bucky walks up. He's like, "No, that was Fortune. Fortune said it was me."
Wait, what?
Colt, I myself didn't entirely bring you back to life. I had a gracious amount of help from our friend here.
Your hair. Yeah, I know.
Dr. Basler.
Dr. Vasler?
PhD.
He's a doctor.
Ah, yeah, Dr. Vasler, PhD. You were, nice to meet you. I'm gonna pick up a lock of her hair and shake her hair like a hand.
Your head twitches as he pulls, like, the roots of your hair. Like, ow, fucking.
Not nice to.
Just show him, please.
What?
JJ's gonna rustle around the back of her head and kind of pick up.
Hey, oh, shit.
He's gonna stick him on top.
Yeah. He plops down.
Holy
This
shit.
is Dr. Basler.
I'm gonna make him bigger so he's easier to see. Here.
JG,
And he
you got a
sits
mean
down,
case of
he puts both his feet forward on the top of her head. He goes, Is this a house call? What the hell?
JJ, you got a mean case of tabaxi lice in your head.
Whoa.
That's not very kind.
I'll have you know I have eaten all of her lice. They were delicious.
And it talks. Hey, are you the one that brought me back to life?
I have indeed brought you lice, but you cannot have any, for I've eaten all of them. Also, wait, you were the dead guy?
Yeah.
He looks at JJ and he goes, Is this the dead guy that talks, or the dead guy that I brought back?
It's the one that you brought back.
Oh, yeah. No, that was me, I think. I mean, technically I can't disclose client confidentiality, but yeah, you know. You're welcome.
So I need a favor.
Oh, a favor.
Oh, shit.
Can you remove this curse from me?
You're
You
cursed?
got a curse on me.
You're cursed?
Yeah, something about veto or something or another.
Oh, that sounds fun. I mean, maybe. Can you show me where your curse is?
Right here. I'm gonna point to all over me.
Yeah, that that narrowed it down. You got me. Yeah, give me a second. And he kind of like looks at you, and you see his beady black coal eyes stare at you, and he goes, things on the fritz again. He starts slamming the side of his face, and you see his eyes flash yellow. He goes, nope, that's not it. They flash green. He goes, dark vision, don't need that. They flash blue. He goes, oh, there we go. And he starts staring at you, and you can almost feel as if there's this gaze through what reality is, and like through your soul, through your very being. And he looks you up and down. You can feel this kind of like faint, ethereal blue light wash over you, and he goes, oh. He blinks, and they turn back to Coles. He goes, can't do it, kid.
All right. Do you know how I can get rid of this?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Somebody who worships a god maybe might help you. You could die. Curses you. Well, this one won't go away when you die. You're really screwed in that one. But professional courtesy, I can't remove it.
All right. Well, I appreciate the help, Doctor. I forgot your name.
Dr. Vasler, PhD,
Vasler.
Esquire, the first.
Oh, I see you're a lawyer
You're a
as well.
lawyer as well?
That's correct.
Fair enough, Dr. Vasler, PhD, Esquire, the first?
There we go. You said it right. I would give you a cookie, but I ate it. It was full of raisins and terrible.
Well, it was nice to meet you, and thank you for, looking over me. And thank you, JJ. I appreciate it. If you change your mind about your hair being able to remove this curse, let me know, though.
Your hair removes curses? And he looks at JJ. He looks down at JJ. He's like, this whole time your hair can remove curses? You didn't tell me?
He thinks that you're my hair, Vasler.
Oh, and he looks in Colt's direction. He goes, that's right. I'm the spirit of her hair.
Oh shit!
And
I'm gonna run.
he slowly sinks into her hair and like crawls and like wiggles himself back in. He's
I'm
like,
You know
gonna
how
run.
much money we can make off this shit?
"We're gonna be fucking rich, kid. Rich, I tell you."
Is there anything else that we could help you with, Mr. Honeycutt?
Oh, I ran away. As soon as he started acting like a spirit, I ran away.
All right, so Colt runs off. Midnight comes and begins to crest over. Vel, you return to your long rest. For the rest of you, you remain vigil. Anything you guys want to do as night progresses from midnight to further down?
Did I finish my rest, or
Nope.
should I? Yeah, I'm gonna finish my rest.
Yep.
Yeah, Bucky will get a long rest too.
Okay. Bucky heads in for the long rest. It starts to peel from early morning back into daylight. The night passes uneventfully. Your encounter with this fog creature, or what it might be, seems to have been the only thing that had planned for the night. But morning comes. Vel, you get a full rest, a long rest back in. Good to go. Colt, another long rest. You can reduce your penalty by 1. So I think you're down to just -1 to everything, right? You need one more long rest? I think that's right.
-2.
Oh, -2 because you started with 4. That's right. So you're -2 on everything, but you're feeling better. You're like cracking your wrists and feeling great, and overall just feeling alive, feeling back in the realm of the living. Bucky, you managed to get a long rest in, sleeping through most of breakfast, but eventually awaking during the day. Morgan, Orville, JJ, you guys start feeling as you're hitting that kind of like wee hours of the morning. For you guys, you've been up well over 24 hours at this point. JJ and Orville make the signal for going to take a long rest. Morgan, how about you?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay, you head down below deck. You see Vel heading above deck, Bucky heading back above deck, and Colt heading back above deck. Lamont is below deck, currently resting and sleeping. You see that Quas has switched out and is currently resting. You see Fortune behind the wheel and is like slowly maneuvering the ferry. He looks at you three as you arrive above deck. He goes, "Hey, can one of you help me out? I need somebody to be at the front to break apart the ice." Come on. I've got a salty pickle in my pocket for whoever wants to help me out.
I would assume someone of adequate strength would be best for the job.
I mean, yeah, you're breaking ice.
Yeah, I guess. We're awake, right? Sorry.
Yeah, the 3 of you are awake.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll do it. That's fine. I can
Right.
go break ice.
You head to the
I'll
front.
help
You see this
you
large
if I
pole.
can. Keep an eye out for it.
Sure. Val, you start to be the spotter, and you start kind of maneuvering this over. Colt, give me an athletics check.
$19.
19. Vel points out where various sections of ice are. You either sweep them away if they're loose, or manage to heft this kind of long pole arm and slam it down with a thunderous cracking sound and breaking. The more north that the ship heads, you continue to see more and more formations of ice, the cold rolling in, and you're definitely getting the wintered feels at this point. Vel, go ahead and make me a perception check.
15.
15. As you guys round the northern edge of Thunder Bay and begin to pull further and further still towards the open area, you note that there are two land masses to the west and to the east of you, and the ferry is slowly drifting between these areas. In doing so, you, for the first time, see a break in the land masses, and ahead of you to the north there is open ocean that is all just a churn with bits of frozen ice that cannot gain hold or refuge as the ocean itself continues to wash and crash upon the shore. Within the next half hour or so of your travel, you begin to hear the fading sounds of Thunder Bay in the distance, and for the first time in quite some time, the only sounds you can hear is the rocking of the ferry and the ringing in your ears from this long and arduous journey. You begin to feel the ferry kick and pull eastward, and as you all continue to travel for the next few hours, you definitely see Colt is being put to work. The heft and weight of this cracker continues to slam against the ice as Vel calls it out. And as you bleed from morning into late afternoon, the rest of the crew receives their long rest. You all sleep through the morning into late afternoon, heading into evening. Vel, you rolled a 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As it peters into evening, many of you eating your rations, the dwarves rotating their shifts out, Mr. Lamont finally rising and Quas returning behind. Vel, you note just ahead, maybe at this point about a mile or so ahead, amid large chunks of ice, another landmass begins to rise out, coated in a sleet of ice. You can see just up ahead in this pathway as Quas takes over the wheel of the ship and begins to peter around this large landmass. You can see smoke and heat rising into the open sky. Some telltale sign of activity.
Would I assume that this was the Basaloon colony, or are we not close enough to that yet?
No, that's as you kind of check your map and look it over. It seems that you're just a hair's breadth from the makings and beginnings of the colony. And as you kind of like pointed out to Colt, you can confirm there are rising steam as if sources of heat exist just ahead a few miles up.
It looks like there's some kind of civilization up there.
As you say this, you hear Fortune groan. He goes, "Oh, good at it. I think we should stop over and, resupply. Maybe we can find a people that have always wanted to sail."
Probably should confirm with our employer. They may want a straight shot to wherever, or our destination. We shouldn't just stop before we confirm with them. They might be awfully mad.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, let me know if I get to de-thaw my ass or not, I guess.
Does that happen?
Yes. Yes, it has happened.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I'm not a warm-blooded creature. You're right, my bad.
You shouldn't say those things out loud. What if somebody finds out about, the green?
Oh no! Whatever will I do? And he looks to the left and looks to the right. He's like, I could shout it to the heavens out here, and no one but you would hear it.
I thought we were starting to get along, but you're kind of coming off rude. I think it's all this cold, and you want me to grab you like a blanket, something hot to drink?
Yeah, sure could go for that. Thanks, Honeycut.
No problem, man. Like I said, I wanted us to start on a new leaf. I don't want us to be against each other, especially if you know how to remove a curse.
He looks at you and he, like, curiously goes, "Yeah, no, I could remove a curse. Pretty proficient in curses, if you will remember that."
I might take you up on that.
I might let you.
And the love triangle grows. It's now a love square.
It's a love hexagon. Colt's actually not playing D&D.
You gotta aim for that love dodecahedron.
Yeah. Colt's not playing D&D. He's playing a visual novel.
Ooh, Monster Camp.
Ooh, yeah, Monster Camp. You guys see it from up ahead. The pair of you can confirm that the Barzulan colony is just a few miles up ahead. Up to you guys what you want to do. But you're all made aware of this.
That we should confirm with our employer if he'd wish to stop or not. If our ferryman also wishes to try and hire another group of expendable labor.
Yeah, I agree. We should probably let Lamont speak to them. Maybe they don't want us speaking to them directly. I don't know.
However you
chain.
want to use Lamont, he's yours to do that with.
You
Like
said that kind of
property.
weird. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's rude.
Anyway, I'm gonna go find Lamont.
All right, you find Lamont, and he's currently working with an axe, and he's found like an old box that's been discarded below deck, and you start hearing this like thunking sound. As you walk up behind him, you see that he's like practicing the swings of an axe you had showed him the other day. He's like, take that.
Hey there, Lamont.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi, Mr. Honeycutt. Hello.
So there's a civilization seems coming up, and we were thinking about stopping, but we wanted to maybe inform our employer and see if they wanted to directly pass to our final destination, or maybe take a stop in order for the ship to resupply and maybe hire new hands since we lost a bunch of them.
There's a civilization up ahead?
Yes.
Have we already arrived in Bazulin?
We're about to, I believe.
Oh. Well, if we're there, we're just a stone's throw away from our destination. And then the ferrymen can do whatever they want to do, but I think we press on. We travel through the night to the pathing, and we arrive at the northern edge of the snowfield. And then we can start our trek first thing at the evening and continue all the way. If we move through the night, we might even be able to make it to Mount Bazulun before too long.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I guess I should get a consensus from everyone to see what they think. I think that's probably the best course of action, just to directly sail through personally. But maybe the ferry does need a few more hands if we're going to be traveling for a couple more days. So let me confirm with them, and then I'll get back to you if you want to present it to your employer. I don't know if he wants us directly speaking to him.
Oof. I don't know if he wants to directly speak to me either. Maybe who had a good rapport with him? Maybe your group should just knock on his door and speak to him. You're heroes after all. You're Weaver's chosen. Certainly, there's a bit of panache that you all command for respect, especially being that you've saved our lives on multiple occasions now. I think I would honestly just get in the way of that conversation.
That's fair. All right. Well, I'll take your word for it. Let me go tell Velithil about it and see if we discuss it with the rest of the group and as well as Fortune, see what he thinks.
All right. Well,
Quas.
Have a good one. Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Lamont. So I'll run back up.
Okay. You run back above deck. You see the group still discussing what should be done.
All right. And then I'll just relay the information.
I tell him what I know.
Yeah, I tell him what I know.
So up to you guys. What's the plan, fam?
Bucky thinks that we should stop, but he'll defer
I'll
to
just
the...
point out one thing about stopping, especially for the evening. We just spat in the face of the thing that wants to kill us. And they don't care about little towns full of little people.
No, and JJ's gonna relay the info that Vaz gave her as well. But if what Vaz said is right, then this ain't just some silly shit. Although I think we all know that at this point.
Well, did he say what it does? If he was able to examine it.
The curse.
Is that not what we're talking about?
Oh no, just about Alcasev and
oh yeah,
all that. He did say that we can't remove the curse, and the curse doesn't end if you die, so that's fun.
A means to remove curses. I have no doubt that we will be able to find someone who can assist us in such a large city. Even someone such as myself can gain that power, given time.
Indeed. I do have to agree with Phil, though. Stopping in a little city is just going to give them more hassle than anything.
Yeah, it'd probably be bringing death and destruction to them, and then on top of it, it may be another night that we have to deal with these threats if they do continue to persist every night.
Oh, I assure you, tonight is going to be the most annoying one yet. I just have a feeling.
I'm probably gonna get my leg cut off or something this time. I mean, at this point, I'm not surprised if I lose a limb or die again and get brought back. I mean, I need to get better armor, guys. Like, can we...
We're going to a dwarven city. We're going to be paid very well. We can handle that. We just have to survive. Won't that be delightful?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect any of y'all to pay for me. I just, like, can we make sure to remind me to get, like, some good armor, like, some real heavy stuff, like 1/4-inch thick steel plates just attached to me, like, barely can move. You just throw me at something or another. Just buy a catapult, too, and just launch me.
Echoing in JJ's ear, you hear, "We're gonna be fucking rich. So rich off this guy. Take all of his gold."
I'll make a note of it, Colt. Unreasonably thick armor.
Unreasonably is... Yeah, that's right.
Did Mr. Lamont say we traveled through the night as well?
That was his suggestion, considering that Colt said he relayed everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, I agree with it. When we are at a point where we could travel through one full night and then make it to our final destination, we don't know what we're going to deal with in the mountains.
Indeed. Maybe we should all get on the same schedule of sleep during the day. I'll be ready at night at sundown. Trudge through.
That's actually a pretty good idea, since we know they're going to come at night. Or at
Yes,
least we think they're going to come at night.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to suggest that after our next encounter with them, no one tries to take a rest until after we've dealt with them. Then in the morning, into the afternoon is when we should sleep.
That's fair.
That seems to make sense to me.
Right, do we want to go have a discussion with our employer, or do we want to... We should have a discussion with him.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, they seem to be calling the shots around here.
Well, let's go inform him that we're about to reach the colony.
Alrighty. JJ is going to go up to the door with the two dwarves.
All right. You walk up. You see both of the Oren brothers kind of look you up and down. Go, Boyless, what seems to be your mission here? Back to give us more poison?
No, we need to inquire with the Lord, sir.
Oh. Well, certainly then. Just a second. And he turns and he knocks in a pattern across the door. You kind of hear this, like, grumbling and, like, a click of the door, and slowly it kind of opens up. He goes, little lady here needs to speak with the Lord. And you hear this kind of, like, voice emanate from the room. You hear, Lord is rather sleepy at the moment. Would not like to be disturbed. What is the matter with these chosen? It's like you can see at this point the face peeking out, and it actually looks like Lord Sirius Busrund, but you know it not to be him.
Mr. Greco, the crew or Mr. Quass would like to stop the ship just to get supplies. We would like to know if you would either like to sail through past the colony or give a stop.
I do believe it was our intention to arrive at our destination as quickly as possible. Any divergence from that original onset and order from my lord seems to be contradictory to what our purpose is here. We should make landfall as soon as possible and head for the mountain as quickly and as deftly as you are able.
I mean, we could just stop in the colony and head out from there.
Suppose you could, but the colony is on its own island, if the maps are to be believed, unless the ice is so densely packed that you can cross it with ease.
Well, I ain't been up this far, I couldn't tell you. I'll relay that, sir. Thank you very much.
Of course, you're welcome.
She will go back to the group and relay the information.
So you didn't get to speak with the Lord?
Nope, Wilbur said he's sleepy.
JJ, he promised a review of your family's moonshine this morning. Strange of a Lord to not keep his word on such.
Well, I don't think it actually got to him, because not even the boys at the door would take it.
I hope they didn't waste it. I mean, Henry
No.
worked so hard.
No, I used it to clean the ship.
Right, we've already made our decisions anyways. I don't believe we should stop. If we can make landfall and then allow Mr. Quast to head back to the village if that's what he wants to do.
Sounds like a plan.
However far up the river we're able to make it towards the mountain. I don't know how far with the ice we'll be able to go.
Well, Wilbus did say that if the ice seemed thick enough that way and we could cross it, then we could stop at the colony and just head on out, and then not even bother them ourselves.
I'd rather take the ship as far as we can get. Its speed has served us very well.
That is true.
Yeah, it might be best to stay on the ship until we're where we need to be.
I agree.
All right. With that, the majority of you guys, what do you guys want to do?
Keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah, we're
gonna push on past the colony to try and get to where we'd be able to get off, and I suppose once we're looking at time of day, we can decide whether or not we reach a point where we want to try and push on through a night or actually set up a very dangerous frozen rest.
Sure. All right. So you guys push on. The ferry itself continues to move with speed. You inform Quas and Lamont that they are more than able to stop at the colony once their contract is fulfilled. They've been well paid, and especially with the protections that you've offered, specifically them, this is at least the very least they could do for you. They push on through the late afternoon into the evening. They continue all the way up until just the last few waning hours of daylight exist upon the shore. Passing past the colony itself on its island, you guys make landfall with the lands and the tundra north of Mount Barzillan. Just outside, you can see the kind of majesty of this heavy mountain range just fixed beneath the kind of dying embers of light in this area. This mountain is truly a sight to behold. It towers some hundreds, most likely, of miles straight into the sky. It is a again, a monument and a testament to those who call it home. That is where we'll call it for tonight. So when we pick up next week, we will begin the journey south, likely to be the easiest part. Yes.
Just put one thought into the group's head as
Sure.
it kind of rushes through my mind and for us to think about. So I gather the group together.
Mm-hmm.
Something's been bothering me. We know that Mr. Lamont is supposed to be the carrier of the item we're protecting, and yet he is given free range to roam about and be put at risk, while the Lord is hidden away, not even to be seen by those who are protecting him. When we're traveling with them in this final leg through the mountains, I think we should watch them very closely.
I agree.
I agree as well.
All right, we can do that. I know we can trust Lamont, though. My boy.
I mean, yeah, they're suspicious enough. Is there anything we should really be looking out for, or just keep an
That's
eye
the
on them?
confirmation I needed.
What?
He's my boy.
What? No, nothing. Just something about your boy. Enjoy it. It's good.
What? All
This
right.
is definitely
As you were saying, Orville.
a BL.
I was saying that they were questionable enough, but was there anything that I should specifically be looking for, or just looking out for their well-being?
Well, they put on a display to give us reason to trust them at the beginning of this. But we still don't have a very good understanding of them. And I just don't understand why, if Mr. Lamont is the important asset, essentially, why he is left so unprotected compared to the Lord. I would think the concerns would be equal. I just believe there's things we are not yet privy to.
It's likely that...
Call me an elf who doesn't trust a dwarf.
I mean, that's fair, but it's likely that while they're protecting their so-called king, or their king, you know, because he is irreplaceable, while this thing is replaceable. I mean, and
I
I
understand.
guess Lamont may just be under our protection. I mean, I'm not trying to doubt what you're saying, but at the same time, seeing the other side of it, it's still likely that they are being extremely protective of this king. And I mean, I
He's
haven't
not
had
their
much.
king.
Yeah,
He's just
not
a
even
lord.
king.
Oh, their lord, excuse me, their lord.
And I understand them being protective of him. I just believe that their concerns should be greater for the person who's carrying such a valuable item.
Well, yes, but at the same time, they don't want to put their lord in harm's way when they can just have the item out in the open if it's going to get taken anyway. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, if you got something valuable, you don't want two valuable items in the same location. That's just what I'm thinking. I mean, I could be completely wrong.
I will concede there is an absolute point that you've made. I'm just wishing that as we reach the final leg of this, we keep a close eye and ensure that we truly are trusting the right people here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't really trust anyone except for y'all and Lamont and the Warden and Henry. And starting to trust Fortune.
So
and
everyone.
I don't know about JJ's hair lice thing, but I don't know. Yeah, those are the people I trust so far. But yeah, I don't trust them. I'm not gonna go and trust them. I'm just trying to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Right, and with my concerns brought up, I'm good.
All right. Any last lingering things before we call it, folks?
Nope.
All right. So, for everyone who stuck with us tonight, we're rounding it out here. That'll end episode 11 for us. We certainly thank you for joining in and checking up with us. I'm going to try to actually have the episode uploaded this week instead of on Monday. So if you want to ever catch the rebroadcast, as always, it is going to be down in the link. Subscribe to our YouTube thingy-majig. That's where all the videos will be. So if you ever want to watch them at your own leisure, we have them there. For everyone who stuck it out with us, I hope you guys have a great night. Hope for those of you who are feeling the cold, stay warm. And certainly, we'll see you next Monday. Have a good night. See ya. Bye.
Bye.